100 years.
This is Keeler.
WIBX 950 and 92.3 FM.
Now back to the Keeler Show.
Well, good morning, and we are live from Boulevard Diner in Whitesboro with another Joe time. Senator Joe Griffo, good morning.
Good morning, William. Good morning, Davey. It's great to be with you here at the Boulevard Diner. It's great to be home, first of all, away from the Capitol right now and back in the district so we can interact with our constituents. And I want to thank Rich Grimaldi and the Grimaldi family who do an extraordinary job here at the Boulevard Diner.
Well, the place is beautiful here.
It's amazing.
I mean, they've done a tremendous job. And you know what I like is when you walk in, you're walking by the desserts and the pastries and the breads and all the fresh baked stuff.
You're walking by everything done right here, which is amazing. I mean, they're very talented. Rich's family put this together, and not only the renovations, but like I said, it's just a great. You got a great product here. All of the delicacies they offer. So Boulevard Diner.
Boulevard Diner, they do a great job. We have a bunch loaded up here today, as this is the weekend going into kind of like, I guess, 4th of July week, right? A lot of people will be off next week dealing with the holiday, and some like to take the week after. Today, by the way, is the final day for elementary students in Oneida County. School is out by, I believe it's noon today for most schools. And that means, they always say when you're driving down the road, be careful. There might be a drunk teacher standing somewhere in the middle of the road. So grab her, get her out of the... I'm just kidding.
A lot of teachers happy today, right?
A lot of happy teachers. And Joe, your wife is a teacher.
Indeed.
So
I saw a lot of the old things on various social media posts and everything where they show how the teachers rejoicing today.
A lot of rejoicing, yes. Yes. So, okay, to give you an idea, we'll speak with Ryan Schmelz from Fox News Radio. A lot of voting could be going on, as they call a votorama in the Senate. We're going to speak with the senator here in regards to the end of session, and there's a lot to talk about. We have from city and state, we learned yesterday that, and I'm really surprised by this, that they're all and there may be a Republican primary for New York governor, because I still think Lawler might jump into this, and there's one more, and then, of course, Elise Stefanik.
Blakeman is the county executive at Nassau County.
So he may get in. Stefanik, it's believed, her people are saying she's going to get in, and one thing is for sure, she has raised a lot of money.
Yeah, I think it's going to be interesting to ultimately see how this all unfolds, and I think the congresswoman was looking at it. The congressman from the Hudson Valley had started a statewide tour.
He said he'd let everybody know by June. Well, June ends Monday.
I think that's part of the issue, though, right now, and I think people are getting caught up with these the dates and deadlines. Yeah. You need to get in earlier rather than later if you're going to really mount a successful effort. I think that's the motivation and understandable. But to just arbitrarily say, well, by June 30th, I got to make that decision. I don't think the next 30 days is going to make a difference if somebody decided to enter in July.
Well, officially, Stefanik is not in yet. Maybe it'll be today. Maybe it'll be Monday. I don't know. But she's indicating that she will get in. And the hope would be, according to city and state, is that may affect what Lawler does. I don't think so necessarily. If he's getting in, he knows most likely Stefanik is going to get in, and that'll be an interesting battle.
Yeah, I think they're all aware of that. I think they look at name ID, look at fundraising capacity. A lot of these elements go into the equation as you're mulling over what you should do. I mean, the one thing I think that is motivating many of these is that the people of the state of New York have basically, through many polls now, expressed their sentiment, which is that the state is heading in the wrong direction.
Yeah.
And they would like to see change. Now, how that all comes together, and we'll talk about, as you said, what happened in New York City.
Yeah.
It's going to be an interesting time in many ways.
So there is a progressive who has won the primary. Shockingly, Cuomo had a big lead And I'm shocked here with an AOC endorsement.
Right. See, I would not say he's a progressive. I would say he's a socialist. He
Well,
truly is. 'Cause
he
he's
is
called
a
him
self-proclaimed
right,
socialist.
And I think that is the concern I have when you look at the city of New York and what has taken place over the last now 12 years, de Blasio and Eric Adams, and over the last 4 years. The city is real, and you've seen it. You're down there a lot. I mean, the changes that have happened in the city of New York, the largest city in this country, are really scary in so many different ways.
Yeah,
Not only from an economic perspective, but from a public safety perspective. And it's been proven in the past, whether you like an individual or agree with them politically, but when you had Giuliani and Bloomberg there, they proved and demonstrated how the city could be managed, and you could do away with some of the things that concern people. But now, when you look at Mandami, I just really don't understand this, and that's why I think it's very important that people examine and review, what took place. And what I mean by I don't understand is you have a 33-year-old with no experience. Now, yes, he's very articulate. He looks good. He really got out there and utilized many of the 21st century.
Hold tight. You're describing yourself when you were 33, or maybe it was younger than that.
Well, I had a little experience though,
Yes.
still around the. You're right. I mean, good point.
But it
Very well
wasn't.
taken.
But
You're
it
talking
wasn't.
about running the largest city
Yes,
in the country.
it wasn't New York City.
Right.
It's a little bit of a different.
And again, I don't begrudge anyone. The age isn't the issue, right?
Yeah.
It's really what do you bring to that? What type of experience do you have? What type of, and in his case, some of the philosophies that he's espoused over the last 5 years. He's been in the assembly, I think, 6 years now. And the concern I have is if you look at some of the programs that he wants, that he's advocating, what impact would that have on the business community of the state of New York City? And the most interesting thing, Bill, and we're here in the media, think about this. When you have the New York Times, the Daily News, and the New York Post agreeing on something, and all three have said, along with the Wall Street Journal, that this is not a good choice or fit for the city of New York now. And you have the Chicago Tribune warning the people of New York City.
Just look at us.
Right.
Yeah,
and,
basically.
But when you have the press, and this is not a conservative press, with the exception of maybe the New York Post, you don't. So there's something here. And that should be concerning to a lot of people. Now, again, if you want to agree with someone, if you like someone politically, I understand that. You become a supporter of that individual. But you have to look at what they represent and what the policies that they are advocating will or could do, and what kind of impact it will have on the city and all of us as a whole in the state of New York.
Here is your problem, in my opinion, with New York. And my wife and I were talking about this last night. It's time for everybody to figure out that during COVID, the old people, the people who were in their 40s and 50s, mainly 50s and 60s, moved out of New York City. Young people, New York has become a very young city, and this candidate is extremely attractive to them. And therein lies the problem.
But not only the problem, but it's the, and when I said to you, because I do understand what happened there, the point I would like to make is and I have made, when you look at, we talked about some of these major publications. There are major significant issues that are now affecting and impacting the life of New Yorkers.
I'm not challenging that.
No, but I'm just saying to you is I get you, but what I'm saying is even those the younger population have to live in a city that's affordable and safe. And I don't know that his policies are going to do that.
You're misunderstanding me. I'm not saying his policies are any different than what you said. I'm saying there is a huge young population in New York City that's going to carry this vote, and that may be very bad for New York City, but we'll talk more about it coming up. Ryan Schmel is standing by right now from Fox News Radio. And, Ryan, good morning. The Senate could begin a vote-a-rama today. What do we know, Ryan? Good morning.
They could. Will they? Because yesterday threw a wrench in a lot of those problems where the Senate parliamentarian, who is the person who essentially decides what falls under the rules of the budget reconciliation process in the One Big Beautiful Bill Act, stripped a number of key provisions out of this thing to the point that Republicans don't know what's going to happen next. And so it's kind of hard to imagine a vote starting today. And so they might have to wait until late into the weekend to do this.
Yeah. Wow. This is, and again, the problem you have here is Republicans in a bit of a divide. Certain Republicans want certain things. Certain Republicans want certain changes. Others don't. It's making this very complicated.
Oh, of course it is. Yes, but now the Senate rules came for the bill, and it's to the point that she stripped this bill so significantly. They have no idea how much this is going to cost and what this is going to mean for its future. And if there's been things taken out that are going to maybe take one member to a yes to a no, or to another member from a no to a yes. There were some things in here we knew were going to go. Some of the stuff they had about nationwide injunctions and overhauling some of the federal court.
Yeah. Somewhere yep, I got you back. Yeah.
Like some of these Medicaid provisions. I mean, those things were how Republicans were paying for this bill, and now she took away a lot of their pay-fors.
Yeah. And the problem is that for many people, many Republicans, those cuts to Medicaid affect a lot of elderly people, depending on the state. So this is very, very touchy. I wonder if go ahead, Ryan.
No, ask your question.
I wonder if you've been following any of the New York. We were just talking about the New York City primary. Andrew Cuomo losing.
Boy.
This has been something Republicans have jumped on. Normally, they wouldn't pay attention to a Democratic primary for mayor in New York City, but they're all over it, saying this is a perfect example of where Democrats have gone. They're going way far to the left.
I mean, you've got some Democrats from New York, like Laura Gillen and a couple others, who straight up have said, we can't have this man get elected mayor of New York. Laura Gillen straight up called him a socialist the other day. She put out a pretty extensive statement saying that she's not going to endorse him. So yes, the reaction from Democrats has been quite intense. And, you've got some who just are trying to avoid having a conversation about it in general. Leader Schumer's kind of been one of those who's trying to avoid some of those questions as well. So the Republicans, yes, they're absolutely seizing on this and saying this is now where the party stands. They're now a far-left socialist party, and some people believe the far-left policies are why they're not in control of the House, Senate, or White House right now. And so this is probably everything that campaign-related Republicans ever wanted to happen in the New York primary.
It is interesting because Kamala Harris, the charge was she's way too far to the left. Well, she may be a moderate or maybe even leaning a little right compared to this guy.
Exactly. That's kind of where Republicans are trying to make this argument. Now, of course, it is New York City. It's not, it's not upstate New York or some other place. But at the same time, Republicans have been elected mayor of New York in the past. There was at one point they had like a powerhouse lockdown there. We had Rudy Giuliani for 8 years. I believe Michael Bloomberg was then mayor for, was it 8? I mean, so that's
12,
like
12 years.
So that's how many election cycles? I know my math is horrible, but how many election cycles is that where a Republican is winning in New York City? Like that's they've come such a long. It's definitely a different situation than it was, all those years ago.
And Ryan, it always comes back to law and order. It always comes back to public safety. The other thing, don't forget that George Pataki, a Republican moderate, was governor of New York State as well. So, but this is a different New York City. We were the Senator Joe Griffo here and I were talking about. It is since COVID, a lot of the more conservative moderates moved out of New York City, and a lot of young people moved in. So it's going to be very interesting to see how everybody reacts to all of this. And then finally, hearing news from city and state that Lisa Stefanik is planning to announce she is going to be running for New York governor.
Yeah, there was some reporting yesterday that said it's not a matter of if, but now a matter of when she is going to throw her hat into the race. So we'll see how that goes over. She definitely is, I mean, she obviously doesn't have her leadership positions that she used to have in the House. She got kind of that got kind of thrown into a wrench. But, there could be – I mean, it's going to be an uphill climb no matter what. Certainly a Republican does have a good chance in New York, but at the same time, it's still a very blue state, so it's a chance no matter how you look at it.
Yep. Very interesting. Ryan, enjoy the weekend, man. Thank you so much.
Hey, you too, buddy. Thank you.
All right, Ryan Schmelz with Fox News Radio. Rob this morning says the bill is going to pass, fellas. The GOP will not allow a massive tax increase. I'm sorry, it's going to pass. Your thoughts?
I think you're going to see a passage of a bill. I don't understand the role of a parliamentarian that has this type of a role. I mean, because we had parliamentarians in the state legislature, but they guide the member. In this case, this is a non-member making, in my understanding, making determinations and decisions on ultimately what can come before the Senate. And I don't understand it right now.
Well, my guess is soon you're going to get a text on Truth Social from President Trump that says, Republicans, stop the bombing. And then there'll be a ceasefire, and away goes the bill. Well, it passes. We'll see, Joe. We're live from Boulevard Diner in Whitesboro. This is, if you haven't been here in a while, it's beautiful. They do a great job. The food is great, and it's a great family atmosphere. And, of course, you walk by the pastries and the desserts and the cakes and the breads when you walk in and when you walk out. I believe that's by design. And a very good design,
but I've noticed that you have nothing in front of you, so Ellie, be proud of you.
I'm trying to do my low-carb best, at least for today. We'll do a quick break, get an update on news coming up here at WIBX at 6:37.
Good morning, WIBX 950 AM 92.3 FM. I'm Megan Stone with your news update brought to you by Adirondack Home Furniture. Rome police are looking into an animal cruelty case after finding a dead dog. Authorities say they were called to 115 Stanwyck Street around 10:30 a.m. Monday and found the dead dog in the driveway. Authorities did not disclose the circumstances that may have led to the dog's death, and an investigation is ongoing. Police are also looking into the responsible parties. Anyone with information is urged to contact police at 315-339-7744 or can leave a 100% anonymous tip with the Mohawk Valley Crime Stoppers at 866-730-8477. More New Yorkers are using cannabis. According to a new report from the New York State Department of Health, it was found 2 million adults ages 18 and older, or about 14.7% of the population, reportedly consumed cannabis within a 30-day period. In 2020, that number was 1.6 million, or 12.8%. The data was collected via a telephone survey by the Behavioral Risk Factor Surveillance System. It found smoking cannabis was the most common way of consuming marijuana, but eating edibles has jumped from 12.1% to 18.1%. Adults 21 to 24 reported the highest rate of cannabis use. A memorial service will be held this weekend for 2 6-year-old girls who lost their lives after a tornado sent a tree into their Clark Mills home. Family and friends of Emily and Kenny Bisson will gather from 4 p.m. until 7 p.m. Sunday at Owens, Pavla, and Rogers Funeral Service in Clinton. That twister struck last Sunday and also ended up killing 50-year-old Shelley Johnson after a tree fell onto her bed. Her memorial will take place Wednesday, also at Owens, Pavla, and Rogers Funeral Service. And researchers at the University of Virginia School of Medicine say a microscopic discovery could lead to new treatments for diseases like Alzheimer's. Research conducted with assistance from the National Institutes of Health has identified a subcellular unit called the hemifusome. Scientists say the unit is responsible for recycling old material and flushing it out of cells. A breakdown in that process can lead to the buildup of plaque that often leads to Alzheimer's and other serious neurogenetic diseases. Researchers now plan to investigate the structure of hemifusomes in hopes of finding new therapies for those diseases. Your Weather Center forecast is next. WIBX 950 AM 92.3 FM. I'm Megan Stone.
Cloudy starting off this Friday. There may be an occasional shower popping up during the afternoon with winds out of the east and a highly hitting 73. And then scattered showers and storms will move through tonight with a low dropping down to 62. It's going to be a wet start to the weekend with showers and thunderstorms on Saturday and a high near 84, clearing Sunday with a high near 80. I'm Jeff Marr at the Weather Channel on WIBX 950 AM and 92.3 FM.
Explore the art of making art at the 2025 Glimmerglass Festival, where summer comes alive with the finest in opera and musical theater just minutes from Cooperstown.
The Glimmerglass Festival is a world-class summer celebration of the arts overlooking beautiful Otsego Lake, making it an easy day trip from anywhere in the Mohawk Valley.
This year's festival runs from July 11th through August 17th and invites you to celebrate art, artists, and creators with productions by Sondheim, Stravinsky, Puccini, and the thrilling world premiere of The House on Mango Street, based on the classic book by Sandra Cisneros.
Told through a series of episodes ranging from fascinating to funny to frightening, this acclaimed coming-of-age story is beloved by readers of all ages.
The Glimmerglass Festival, a highlight of your summer experiences in the Cooperstown region. Hiking, kayaking, picnicking, and world-class opera and musical theater just a short drive from anywhere in the Mohawk Valley.
Visit glimmerglass.org to purchase tickets and learn more. Then join us at the festival, where every moment is a masterpiece.
Beautiful woodwork adds warmth and charm to any kitchen. But years of use can leave your cabinets worn and faded. When you call Enhance, we'll make your cabinets as good as new again in as little as 1 day for a lot less than you'd pay for traditional refinishing or replacements. Whether you want to renew your cabinet's original finish or completely change their color, just tell us the look you want and we'll help you get it. Or bring your hardwood floors back to life. With most Enhance renewals, you can use your floors again the same day. Plus, there's no mess, no dust, and no odors. Call Enhance today for a free in-home consultation. We'll explain the process, we'll show you how your cabinets or floors will look when we're done, and we promise you'll be really pleased with the price. And when you trust Enhance, you'll get the skilled workmanship and attention to detail we bring to every job. There's no obligation. Call us now at 738-1113. 738-1113.
Adirondack Home Furniture is the area's go-to store for top-quality, durable, American-made pieces for any room. All month long, Adirondack Home Furniture is celebrating America with their Made in America sale. Stop in today and explore their extensive inventory and their many new arrivals for every room in your home. And don't forget, Adirondack Home Furniture has more than just rustic pieces. They carry a wide variety of modern, farmhouse style, and traditional. Are you looking for a better night's sleep? Then check out their selection of Restonic mattresses or Gold Bond flippable mattresses. Once you select the perfect piece for your space, they can deliver it locally for free of charge, or you can pick it up yourself from the showroom. So stop in to Adirondack Home Furniture today and celebrate America with the Made in America sale going on now. Adirondack Home Furniture in Riverside Center, Utica. Give them a call at 315-738-7817 or visit AdirondackHomeFurniture.com.
Actual price will depend on product and subscription plan. Featured products are compounded drug products, which the FDA does not approve or verify for safety, effectiveness, or quality. Prescription products require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. See website for details, restrictions, and important safety information.
Want a boost in and out of the bedroom? Hims has you covered. Introducing a new 2-in-1 approach to level up your game. Tadalafil for better bedroom performance and zinc for testosterone support. Put it all together and you've got what you need to turn things all the way up. Getting started is simple. Just go to hims.com/radio to start your free online visit. Through Hims, you can access ED treatments including pills, chews, and more. 100% online. No office visits, no pharmacy lines. Just fill out a simple intake form and a licensed medical provider will determine if treatment's right for you. If prescribed, it ships free and discreetly to your door. Find affordable treatment options at up to 95% less than brand names at hims.com/radio. That's hims.com/radio. HIMS.com/RADIO.
WIBX.
This is Keeler.
WIBX 950 and 92.3 FM.
Now back to the Keeler Show.
Okay, we just had Senator Joe Griffo doing his best Paul Harvey. Good day. Do you want to?
Hello, Americans. Paul Harvey here.
That's good. That's really good. I used to sit in my car before going into when I was a junior or senior in high school. Like at noon after lunch, I would just sit there and wait for Paul Harvey to come on, and then I would then go to school.
I don't
Loved
know.
Paul Harvey.
I wonder how many listeners actually remember Paul Harvey, though, right?
Probably on this station, quite a few.
Okay.
I would.
Is that because the station's 100 years old?
That station's 100 years old. There's a 100-year-old out there right now. So, you knew that whippersnapper, Paul Harvey? He couldn't hang on like I did, right? And Megan, if you just to let you know, we'll be talking to Willie Waffle coming up in a second. I gotta say, do you watch The Bear?
I do not.
Oh, you gotta. You're home now.
Okay.
You can start with season 1.
Okay.
You watch season 1, you're gonna binge watch the whole thing because it is so good. It's about a restaurant in Chicago. I keep bragging about this show. It's really, really good.
And here we are in a restaurant. So
And here we are.
Maybe
and,
Grimaldi could. We got to ask Mr. Grimaldi if he's watched it.
In a far better run with less drama restaurant, I'm going to tell you. Deeds in New Hartford. Did you guys share engineers with WKTV? I'm hearing, is this better? Is this quality better? She said it is. She says it is? Okay. All right. Thank you, Megan. Sounds pretty terrible, guys. Well, I want to thank all the listeners for informing me that it sounds like crap. Thank you. The full-time mayor thing drives me nuts. This is Kevin in Utica. He's also married. Would the crazies prefer? We're talking about Galimi here.
Okay.
Would the crazies prefer he separate from his wife while he's in office? He's a father. Should he stop being a father? And Kevin, I get it. I do think that the one issue though is just come out and say it. If you're Mayor Galimi, just come out and say, I worked. I had to ramp down. Somewhere between December and January, I completely ramped down, and that was the end of it. And I owe no one else any explanation. I'm working for the city, but at the same time, I also have to provide for my family. End of story, right?
Yeah.
But don't be wishy-washy. You can't start in May and turn into December and turn into January because people are going to say you're avoiding or you're lying. And that's where Katie Aiella was jumping on.
Yeah, I saw some of your video from the other day, and I think it's always best to just address it directly. There are no prohibitions exist, and I think sometimes you're trying to be you're aware of the fact that you have the ability or the opportunity to do something in accordance with the ethics and the law, and then you're trying to determine when you're trying to get people on dates and things like that, it becomes very difficult.
Yeah.
I think just generally say, here's the situation.
Here it is. Boom. End it.
But that's the perils of public life.
Yes, but you have many years of experience, Joe. Remember that time you were the head announcer at Vernon Downs, and people were all upset about that. You weren't dedicated to...
I think I just want to learn from Jim Moran, or
the
voice of Vernon Downs. They're off and pacing.
Okay, see, now he can even do Jim Moran. That's really good. Willie Waffle on the line right now. Willie, good morning.
Hey, how's it going this morning?
Good. We're out on location at one of the hot spots here in upstate New York. The Boulevard Diner, and it should be on the list, the registry, as people are driving, and for a great diner and great food. Okay, I have not yet started, but it has dropped. The Bear has dropped.
Yes, I'm up to episode 9 out of 10.
Okay,
yes,
wow.
I'm crazy. Okay, it came out Wednesday night at 8 o'clock. And I just started watching, and you know it's really. I'm not going to give away any of the plot. I know you guys don't want me to ruin that for you, but I will say, it starts a little slow, but man, it starts to pick up, and it's coming to a really big ending. I really think so. I think it's right up there with the other seasons.
You know, the nice thing about these things is it can start a little slow because you can always be like, yeah, let's watch half of the next episode or whatever. That always draws you in. And these shows always, Willie, they always make you, they always somehow leave you wanting more. But this show is so good.
Well, absolutely, and that's why I'm already up to episode 9 because each night I'm like, yeah, maybe I'll just like watch one. And then I want to watch the next one. Then I want to watch the next one. And then, the big episode in this season is episode 7. There is a wedding. And it's the big feature episode. Every year you can pick 1 or 2 episodes from the season that are like the big feature episodes. And the wedding is the big feature episode this season. As it goes about an hour long. I was like, oh man, maybe I'll just watch a half an hour, and then I just kept going because I wanted to see how it ended.
Okay, that's episode 7. By the way, it's The Bear is on Hulu. For those who want to
Hulu.
Check it
That's
out.
why you can stream it and binge it and do it all. And it cannot. Okay, and I just want to get one thing off my chest. Okay, so this thing just came out Wednesday night. All right, I suspect there are a lot of people who are not as crazy as I am who are planning to watch it maybe this weekend. Well, as I'm sitting here this week, if I go on to Google, there's a story. This big thing happened during the Bear this season. I'm like, dude, it just came out Wednesday. I got an email last night. I get emails from like Variety and the Hollywood Reporter, and Variety has this big story, the big shocking thing in the final episode. I'm like, no, stop.
Yeah. It's spoiler alert. And the other thing is they're all doing is it's like, here are the 5 guest stars that are going to be showing up with cameos or what have you that are going to shock you. I don't want to know. I want to watch and discover like everything else. How are we, Davey? Good. You sure? Okay. I'm with you, Willie. All right, in theaters, everybody talking about Brad Pitt. What do you think on F1?
Hey, there's always a lot of reasons to talk about Brad Pitt, okay? The dude is a movie star, and that's what comes out here in F1. This is his big summer movie. This is a big summer movie in every respect, okay? He plays this Formula One driver. He had a really promising career, but it got derailed by an accident, and now here it is 30 years later. And he's got a chance to come back. He's got a chance to maybe, mentor the new rookie on his team. And, of course, fall in love because it's a summer movie and he's Brad Pitt. And the ladies are going to be flirting with Brad Pitt. And that's what I said. This is like a big summer movie, right? It's a movie with lots of style. It's got the car racing scenes that are so cool with all the pulsating music. They're swerving around the track, right? You've got all the cars looking like the greatest machines on the planet. Then you've got the formulaic story, right? The rivalry between Brad Pitt and the young rookie. Of course, the sexy technical director of the team that's flirting with him, and they have kind of that Sam and Diane cheers, will they, won't they kind of relationship going on. But, I think the biggest reason to see it is to see the movie is because of Pitt. Because, he does have that superstar magnetism. He does play the coolest guy in the room. I'm at 3 waffles. I think you're going to have a good time.
So this is worth going out to a theater and watching it.
Oh, I think so because of the race scenes. I mean, the race scenes just look really cool on a big screen.
Can I ask you, listen, I'm always on a diet. I'm always trying to, do my best to work out. And how old is Brad Pitt?
Brad Pitt is like 60.
How in the hell does he have a stomach like that?
Well, there's a lot of magic in Hollywood, my friends.
There is.
Money helps. Trainers help. Medical intervention helps.
Oh, there is definitely medical intervention, no doubt.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. I mean, I'm not 60, but even when I was 20, never could have looked anything like Brad Pitt does at 60. I mean, hey, let's face it. The other thing too, it's his whole job to stay in shape. I mean, I talk about going to the gym too a lot, but when I've had a long day at work, I'm not going. When I've had a long day at work, man, I could have a hamburger for dinner tonight with some fries. That sounds really good. I don't have a personal trainer, a personal chef, somebody monitoring every single part of my life. Yeah.
I gotta say, my wife gets down on her knees every night before bed, and she prays to the Lord. And she always ends the prayer by saying, why can't my husband look like Brad Pitt? And the Lord never seems to do anything about it. I mean, I would think that I'm going to wake up one morning and be like, wow, it's a miracle. Nope. He answered it.
I have the same prayer, except
Yes.
But my prayer is, can I please look like Brad Pitt?
Yeah. I think we're all there. That's unbelievable. And then, what is this, Megan 2.0 in theaters? This is kind of a robot thing, right?
This is This is the robot that went crazy. One of the big surprise hits, in the past couple of years. So of course they're going to have to milk it for a sequel, and of course it maybe wasn't the best idea to milk it for a sequel. Yes, we learned that they have to resurrect the Megan robot because there's another artificial intelligence robot that's been created, and it's gone rogue, and only Megan can stop it. And I think that the problem with this movie is that it gets away from what really worked in the first movie. I mean, the first movie, it was pretty simple. The robot thought it had to do everything it could to protect the little girl and took it too far and was very sassy and very snarky. And we laughed at a lot of the things that she said. And when the movie kind of focuses in on that, I think we're in a good place, right? She gets very funny cutting one-liners.
Yeah.
She gets very funny reactions. But, they're overcomplicating this movie so much. I mean, the other robot is part of some army development. It goes into business for itself. It stops following commands. There's all sorts of stuff about what Allison Williams is working on and what the army is working on and chasing the robot around and why did it go back? I don't care.
Yeah,
okay, like it gets way too into all that. I think losing that focus and really making the movie longer than it needs to be hurts it. I'm at like 1.5 waffles for Megan 2.0.
All right, I want to be before we run out of time. I want to get into. I watched the trailer on this yesterday, and I'm like, you know what? I think we're going to have to watch this. And it is about a 2013 Carnival cruise that was labeled the bachelor party of all cruises. It was like everything you would think of at a Vegas bachelorette or bachelor party, and it was on this cruise ship, and it was wonderful until the power went out. Enter Trainwreck Poop Cruise. And
That's right.
It was bad, Willie.
Not only does the power go out, but when the power goes out, that means the toilets don't work,
the sewer system, everything. It was horrible, right?
Oh, horrifying. And the documentary, it's about an hour long. It's on Netflix. And, it takes kind of a little bit of a comical take on it. Like, I can't believe I'm in the middle of this horrible situation. And a lot of the people who were on the cruise who were like the talking heads in this documentary, I think they're trying to play it up a little bit for laughs. They're trying to play it up a little sarcastically. The crew is trying to play it up sarcastically. And then there's this one couple. It's a father and daughter. They were going on the cruise as a bonding moment. And while everybody else is joking about, I had to try to find a toilet that worked or the horrible things that were going on around them with, sewage was just spilling evereverywhere.
Oh, it was coming out of the showers and was coming out of everything. It was bad.
It was like an inch deep on the floor.
Yeah.
But then the father and daughter are talking about, we thought we were going to die. We thought that we were worried about what was going to happen. And I'm like, yeah, that's a realistic thought.
Yeah.
Because the ship was literally dead in the water, like just floating.
Yeah.
They couldn't steer it anywhere. They couldn't sail it anywhere.
What do you get? Is this an hour that is worth dedicating?
Yeah, I mean, I'm at 2 waffles. I mean,
right.
I don't think there's anything revelatory here, but it's interesting to see some of the footage and hear the people talk about it. And I think in some ways you appreciate what the crew did because they were in a horrible situation.
Yeah.
And I would say 99% of their decisions were pretty good ones, and they made one bad one.
Yeah. All right, and then I've got 15 seconds. Chef Ann Burrell, who died. She just taped something before she passed away, so she'll be on TV soon, right?
Yeah, in late July, I think it's July 28th, Ann Burrell's last season of Worst Cooks in America will air on the Food Network. So you've got one more season of the funny chef who was so great at teaching people how to cook.
All right, Willie, great stuff. And The Bear on Hulu. Check it out. You have a great weekend.
All right, talk to you next week.
All right, thanks so much, Willie Waffle. Joe Griffo, you got to see it.
Yeah, I'm going to look forward to seeing that and watching you, Brad. Bill.
We're live at Boulevard Diner. News is coming up next.
From the Stanley Theater Studio, WIBX Utica, Rome.
W295EI.
WIBX 950 and 92.3 FM, celebrating 100 years.
A working weekend. CJ Papa, Fox News. Senators will be at the Capitol trying to figure out how to pass the president's one big, beautiful bill.
These reforms will protect or create more than 7 million jobs, add 3.1% to economic growth, reduce taxes for the typical American by nearly 15%.
President Trump during an event at the White House in support of the spending plan. Fox's Chad Pergram has more.
It's a big, beautiful riddle. The Senate hoped to start debate on the bill, but it's not done. The Senate referee nixed provisions to control Medicaid expenses. That sent Republicans scrambling to fix the bill. Senate parliamentarian Elizabeth McDonough rejected language to bar illegal immigrants from Medicare and Medicaid coverage. GOP Alabama Senator Tommy Tuberville demanded the Senate fire McDonough. Some Republicans won't let debate start until they get answers. House conservatives are fuming at the Senate. They refuse to let the Senate change the House bill and then expect the House to accept their version.
And Chad just reporting it's not clear if the Senate will vote to begin debate on the bill today, which could delay its passage. And the president wants swift justice for the leaker claiming Operation Midnight Hammer didn't accomplish its goal.
President Trump is calling out the left after intelligence about the U.S. strikes on Iran's nuclear sites was leaked to the press. The president posting, quote, "The Democrats are the ones who leaked the information on the perfect flight to the nuclear sites in Iran. They should be prosecuted." The FBI is now investigating the leak, and the White House is now tightening its circle, saying they will limit access to classified information to Congress. Senators did receive a closed-door classified briefing yesterday. It was led by CIA Director John Ratcliffe, Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth, and Joint Chiefs Chair General Dan Kane. But Republicans and Democrats remain divided over Iran's nuclear capability.
Fox's Brooke Saman, America's listening to Fox News.
Let's see, if something costs less, a lot less, but people are actually happier with it, that sounds like something to look into, and that's MetaShare. Maybe you've heard joining MetaShare can save you or your family up to $500 a month, and that's huge, but it's also true. People are just happier with it. They love being part of something that reflects and promotes their values and what they believe in. MetaShare works, too. It's been around for 30 years now, and members have shared more than $7 billion of each other's bills. People love having telehealth and a huge nationwide PPO network, so yeah, really, you can save a ton and like it better. Imagine being happy with how you're taking care of your health care, whether you're self-employed or part of the gig economy, or you just want a plan that you're happy with. Here you go. You can call right now and get a price within 2 minutes. A very, very smart use of 2 minutes. Here's the number you need. It's 866-89-BIBLE. That's 866-89-BIBLE. 866-89-BIBLE.
It's the final countdown to the final decisions from the U.S. Supreme Court on the final day of their term, but will the High Court finish its work on time? Fox's Jessica Rosenthal explains.
The court has 6 cases left, including one that will determine if federal judges can issue nationwide injunctions, rulings that temporarily stop a rule or law from taking effect, but apply it to the whole country. 3 judges issued such injunctions after the president signed an order ending birthright citizenship. The court may not issue a ruling today on it, though, since they heard arguments later in the term. Another significant ruling includes one that will determine if religious parents can opt out of having certain books read to their children at school. Thursday, one of the more significant rulings had the justices siding with the state of South Carolina's rule that bars Medicaid dollars from being spent at Planned Parenthood because the agency performs abortions. Jessica Rosenthal, Fox News.
He was close to both President Biden and First Lady Jill Biden, so close that he was labeled her work husband. And Republicans want him to answer questions over the use of the auto pen. Fox's Ryan Schmelz.
House Republicans issuing a subpoena to Anthony Bernal, a former top aide to President Biden and First Lady Jill Biden. This after the committee also subpoenaed President Biden's doctor, Kevin O'Connor. The House Oversight Committee want both men to sit for an interview as part of their investigation into an alleged decline and cover-up of President Biden's mental acuity and documents signed by AutoPen. The former president has pushed back on the allegations and said all documents signed during his time in office were done with his consent. On Capitol Hill, Ryan Schmelz, Fox News.
Andrew Cuomo not dropping out of the race for New York City mayor. The former three-term New York State governor, who resigned from office in 2021 due to a number of scandals, has decided for now to move ahead and run in the general election as an independent candidate. Two sources confirming that to Fox News. I'm CJ Papa, and this is Fox.
Good morning. WIBX 950 AM 92.3 FM news time is 7:05. I'm Megan Stone with your news update, brought to you by the new Destination Kia of Utica Commercial Drive in Yorkville. 61 degrees under cloudy skies. Your full WIBX Weather Center forecast is coming up next. A Watertown man was arrested under drug charges following a traffic stop. New York State Police say they stopped the vehicle driven by 38-year-old Ryan Mansfield Martin after he allegedly failed to come to a complete stop at a red light. Police say they saw a knotted baggie with a white powdery substance and 2 white pills in the dashboard area. Police tested the substances and said the powder was crack cocaine and that the pills were a Schedule II drug. Mansfield Martin was charged with criminal possession of a controlled substance in the 7th degree and was released on an appearance ticket. Rome police are investigating another smash-and-grab robbery, this time at Rizzo's Market. This follows similar burglaries at the Relax Inn and the Bloomfield Market, where a suspect smashed through the front door window and was able to gain entry inside. Police say the individual stole a quantity of lottery tickets before fleeing. Anyone with information about this burglary is asked to call Rome Police, or they can leave a 100% anonymous tip with the Mohawk Valley Crime Stoppers at 866-730-8477. Robert F. Kennedy's Jr.'s panels of vaccine experts is voting to recommend a new vaccine aiming to protect babies from RSV. The Enflosia shot was approved earlier this month by the FDA and is one step closer to being widely available ahead of RSV season. A second unanimous vote earned the shot a recommendation to be included in the Vaccines for Children program. VFC offers free vaccines to kids and families not able to afford them. And an alternative rock band is coming to the list of performers for the upcoming New York State Fair. Group Love will be at the Chevy Court on Sunday, August 24th, for a performance that begins at 6 p.m. Their list of hit songs include Colors, Ways to Go, and Raspberry. And the Los Angeles-based group released its 6th studio album back in 2023. This year's fair runs from August 20th through September 1st. Your WIBX news time is 7:07. Here is your Weather Center forecast.
Cloudy starting off this Friday. There may be an occasional shower popping up during the afternoon with winds out of the east and a highly hitting 73. And then scattered showers and storms will move through tonight with a low dropping down to 62. It's going to be a wet start to the weekend with showers and thunderstorms on Saturday and a high near 84, clearing Sunday with a high near 80. I'm Jeff Marr at the Weather Channel on WIBX 950 AM and 92.3 FM.
61 degrees under cloudy skies. Let's take a look at sports. Brought to you by the IBEW 43 Local Sports Desk, the 2025 NBA Draft has wrapped from Brooklyn. The second round was held Thursday, where the Phoenix Suns selected St. Joseph's forward Rasheer Fleming to begin the day. The other highlights: in the second round, Creighton center Ryan Kalkbrenner going 34th to the Charlotte Hornets. Auburn center Johnny Broome being taken 35th by the 76ers, and Duke guard Tyrese Proctor drafted 49th by the Cavaliers. The next major event in the NBA calendar will be the start of free agency negotiations on June 30th, followed by NBA Summer League in Las Vegas. That kicks off July 10th. The NHL draft begins tonight with a first round, and the Buffalo Sabres hold 10 total picks, including the 9th overall. The first round will be held tonight, with rounds 2 through 7 taking place Saturday. While the draft takes place in LA, it is decentralized this year, meaning the organization is using the Buffalo Bills Orchard Park facilities for their draft headquarters. The New York Islanders own the top overall pick, and they are expected to select defenseman Matthew Schaefer. The Mets, they shut out the Braves 4-0 in their series finale. Pete Alonso led the way at the plate, going 3 for 4 with an RBI single. Griffin Canning left the game after suffering a non-contact injury in the third inning. New York leads the NL East after being back-to-back wins and will visit the Pirates for a 3-game set tonight. Yankees, they begin a weekend series in the Bronx tonight. New York hosting the Athletics for a 3-game set at Yankee Stadium. Will Warren is slated to toe the rubber for the Pinstripes, who are leading the AL East. In other news, Aaron Judge has been elected to represent the American League in the All-Star Game with over 4 million fan votes. Yet last season's most valuable player in both the American and National Leagues, they secured their spot in the All-Star Game. Outfielder Aaron Judge and Dodgers star Shohei Ohtani were elected as starters by fans on Thursday. Judge led the league with over 4 million votes in the first round. Ohtani topped the NL with over 3.9 million fan votes. Remaining starters will be announced July 2nd. Pitchers and reserves revealed July 6th. Two players are tied atop the leaderboard after the first round of the Rocket Classic. Kevin Roy and Aldris Potgieter each shot a 10-under 62 in the opening round of the tournament. Minwoo Lee, Mark Hubbard, and Max Geiserman are tied for third at 9 under par. Isaiah Salinda, Justin Lauer, and Mac Messner will be among the first group of players teeing off round 2 at Detroit Golf Club. And the green flag waving for the inaugural NASCAR Cup Series in-season challenge. It happens tomorrow. The battlefield in the Quaker State 400 from Echo Park Speedway, the 5-race bracket-style tournament, includes 32 drivers seeded by their best finishes over the last 3 Cup Series races. Denny Hamlin is top overall seed, while last weekend Poconos winner Chase Briscoe is second. Your WIBX news time is 7:10, 61 degrees under cloudy skies. WIBX 950 AM, 92.3 FM. I'm Megan Stone.
Every once in a while, something that sounds too good to be true is actually in fact true. How would you like up to $2,000 of free windows? When I say $2,000 of free windows, I mean $2,000 of free windows. No gimmicks or games. You don't have to buy $2,000 to get $2,000 free. You just get $2,000 of free windows through Patriot Home Solutions and NYSERDA. Of course, some restrictions apply, but none of the restrictions are income-based. And you don't have to sit through a long, drawn-out sales presentation. Give Patriot a call at 315-401-0440. And they can quickly tell you over the phone if you qualify or how you can get qualified. That's 315-401-0440. These aren't any windows. They're high-quality, custom-fitted windows designed to save energy and keep the cold air out all winter. Your window solution is Patriot Home Solutions. Online at patriothomesolutions.com.
Hi, this is Ray Durso of the Genesis Group. If you're interested in keeping up with events and news in the Mohawk Valley region, I have the show for you. It's called This Week in the Mohawk Valley, and it airs every Sunday on WIBX. Join us as we talk with area business leaders, elected officials, law enforcement, educators, and more. Don't miss This Week in the Mohawk Valley every Sunday at 9 a.m. on WIBX 950 AM, 92.3 FM.
The 4th of July sale is on at Mattress Express. Save up to $1,350 with the largest selection in central New York. Take up to 5 years to pay with no money down for qualified buyers and no credit check payment plans. Hurry.
If you need to hire, it seems like the whole process can be exhausting. You search resumes, wait for the right candidates to apply, set up initial interviews. It's a lot of time and work. Well, what if you could meet with qualified candidates for your job the very next day? Now you can with Zip Intro from ZipRecruiter. And right now, you can try it for free at ZipRecruiter.com/radio. Zip Intro is super easy to use. You simply pick a time, and it does all the work of finding and scheduling qualified candidates for you. Then you can choose who you want to talk to and meet with great people on back-to-back video calls as soon as the next day. Best of all, you save time and energy.
Try Zip Intro for free right now at this exclusive web address, ZipRecruiter.com/radio. Zip Intro. Post jobs today, talk to qualified candidates tomorrow. Once again, go to ZipRecruiter.com/radio to try it for free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/radio.
This message comes from Viking, committed to exploring the world in comfort. Journey through the heart of Europe on an elegant Viking longship with thoughtful service, destination-focused dining, and cultural enrichment on board and on shore. With small ships that bring travelers closer to the destination, there's more time to explore. And every Viking voyage is all-inclusive, with no children and no casinos. Discover more at Viking.com.
It's AmeriQ Credit Union's 75th anniversary, and our high-rate checking account has an unprecedented rate worth celebrating. Get started at ameriq.org/high-rate.
This station is brought to you by John's Mobile Home Parts and Accessories in Oriskany Falls. For all your mobile home needs, it's worth the trip. Visit johnsmobilehomeparts.com for more info.
Celebrating 100 years.
This is Keeler.
WIBX 950 and 92.3 FM.
Now back to the Keeler Show.
Well, let me tell you about Ricky Z and Steve Ponte Mazda. The Move to Mazda sales event is continuing. You can save on a new Mazda lease or enjoy 0.9% APR financing on new 2025 Mazda CX-30s, CX-5s, 50s, CX-70s. My favorite is the CX-90. You can see the dealership for details, and Rick and Wyatt and everybody over there will help you out. Mazda finished 2024 with a 16.8% sales increase year over year and was awarded more IIHS Top Safety Pick Plus awards than any other brand. So, as Rick says, come on in. Let's make your deal on a new Steve Ponte Mazda Commercial Drive in Yorkville. Also, this is something, Joe, I know I don't want to play your doctor, but I can.
Be calling you Dr. Feelgood then.
Well, I think we can do this without meds. I'm just saying. You're having some. I don't want to. Is it HIPAA? Am I breaking the rules?
No, you can go.
You're having some back issues. It's terrible, isn't it? The back. People don't understand. If you have back pain, you look normal. You're walking. Everything looks fine. What are you? What are you, being a baby? The pain. When you can't sleep, the pain is terrible. And it can. So that's kind of what you're experiencing a little bit. So I would say, think about Revive Softwave Therapy with Timothy Delmenico, an FDA-cleared, non-invasive, drug-free treatment for chronic pain, inflammation, and all joint issues. There's a new patient special. It's a $99 new patient special, introductory discovery session, which includes a consultation with one of the doctors, softwave therapy treatment, and a treatment recovery plan and assessment. It creates it tells the brain there's something going on over here, and that's the area where you're having your problem. And stem cells and blood rush to the area, and your body helps naturally fix the problem. Call today, 315-725-8427 for the Revive Softwave Therapy, Dr. Timothy Delmedico. And I believe we have, so Minnesota lawmaker assassin, okay, will be in court today as the slain Representative Marissa Hortman, her husband, and others lie in state. So that is the story here with Tanya J. Powers, who's standing by right now from Fox News Radio. Obviously, this was a terrible story, Tanya. What do we know? What will happen today?
Well, a couple of different things. First of all, kind of on the parallel tracks here, you have Vance Belter, who is the person who is accused in these deaths. He is facing half a dozen federal charges, including multiple counts of murder and stalking in the deaths of Representative Hortman and her husband, Mark. He is due in court today. He is also facing state charges, by the way, that include first-degree murder. He is also accused of shooting State Senator John Hoffman and his wife, Yvette, at their home. Both of them are recovering. It is going on. This is going to be a detention hearing, among other things, to decide whether they release him, before trial, or if they keep him behind bars. On the like a parallel is the other part of this that's going on is that the Hortmans are going to lie in state today at the Minnesota State Capitol, along with their golden retriever, Gilbert. Police say that Belter also shot Gilbert when he shot the
Right, yeah.
And that makes the representative, the late Speaker Emerita, the first woman and one of fewer than 20 Minnesotans to be given the honor of lying in state at the Capitol Rotunda.
Boy, this should be the story of the year that reminds us all that politics are just going too far, and it's time to take a deep breath. There are people out there that are influenced in a very negative way, and I feel like we're where it's just easier to throw around these comments and these statements and angry and mean things when it comes to politics, and then something like this occurs. So I think we have to take a step back and be careful.
Yeah, his wife has also put out a statement that says basically on behalf of her and her children, she wants to express the deepest sympathies to the Hortman and Hoffman families. She said, our condolences are with all who are grieving during this unimaginably difficult time. They are praying daily for them. She's not charged with anything. Her statement said that she has fully cooperated with investigators and responded to their every request. That is a quote. After she got a call after the shootings, a few hours after the shootings is when law enforcement first called her. She says she met agents at a nearby gas station. She said they voluntarily agreed to meet with them, answer their questions, give them all the items they asked. They cooperated with all the searches. So that, is also kind of going on here at the same time. We've heard from Belcher's wife.
It is interesting because the initial report said that she had cash and a passport. But, until you're in someone else's shoes, you really don't know what the real situation is there.
Yeah, there was an affidavit filed by an FBI special agent that said that they called them preppers, basically, people who prepare for a catastrophic incident. They said in her car were passport, 2 pistols, and at least $10,000 in cash. She's not charged with any crime or accused of any wrongdoing in connection with this at this point. So that's, important to note. And also, like I said, he has been charged, not convicted of anything at this point, but obviously something that we're following, especially these court hearings. I'll be filing a story on that when that happens later today.
Okay. All right, Tanya, we appreciate the update. Thanks so much. Have a great weekend.
Sure. Thank you.
Thanks so much, Tanya J. Powers from Fox News Radio. Also want to tell you that it is important, and Joe, you can talk about this because I know this has been discussed in Albany. And there's a Utica program right now and a New York State program when it comes to lead in homes, old apartments. Utica is one of the worst areas in the state. And kids today need to be tested at age 1 and 2 for lead poisoning. This is the Lead Safe Utica program. Kids with lead poisoning, it can harm their brain, nervous system, speech, hearing, learning, and behavior. It is a major problem. And if the house is old, it can be everywhere, including in the air, and children are breathing this in. Lead Safe Utica. Go to leadfreemv.org. There's up to $30,000 per unit in HUD lead hazard reduction funding. And this could be if you're a tenant, a homeowner, or even a landlord. There could be help out there for landlords to make sure your property is safe for these children. Go to leadfreemv.org, and there is a phone number, too, you can call for Lead Safe Utica, leadsafeutica.com, or call 315-724-4197. We are live from Boulevard Diner
WIBX
with Senator Joe Griffo. Senator, good morning.
Good morning.
And welcome to they're keeping your coffee cup full.
Yes. Boulevard Diner, excellent place. Thank the Grimaldi family for hosting us today, and thank WIBX for taking the morning show on the road. This is something we've been doing for many years now, trying to come out into coffee shops and restaurants, particularly in the morning, because I feel that people feel they're comfortable in their own setting, and this is where people talk about the topics of the day. They're not leery in any way of expressing their opinion or asking questions, and you've seen it. We've taken them
they yell at you.
In fact, well, I don't know about yelling. I think we get some good...
Remember that one guy? We had to drag him out? Remember that time? That didn't happen.
So,
but I do remember Tom Hyland being very passionate and reminding you of, although you work very closely with Utica Mac. And, Tom, come on up here and say hello to everybody.
Good morning.
And really tight on that yellow mic. And there's finally a positive outcome for you guys.
Sure. Excuse me. About 2 years ago, I notified Senator Griffo about what was going on with the electric truck and diesel truck situation this is all part of New York State's CLCPA, Climate Leadership and Community Protection Act.
So I feel so protected and quite a leader.
You should.
Yeah.
You should. And I mentioned to him that this is going to be a very big detriment to our business and all the truck businesses in New York State, because they required us to sell an electric truck before we could sell any diesel trucks starting January 1st of this year.
And the problem is no one wanted, I mean, our climate, our terrain, you're dealing in construction, there was no one looking to invest right now in these electric Mack trucks.
It wasn't just Mack trucks. It
Yeah,
was all
everything.
all the manufacturers have an electric
Yeah.
truck, but they just do not work yet.
Yeah, yeah.
And all the dealers are not against electric vehicles or cleaner air. Yesterday,
If I could on
Yeah,
that, this is the part that I don't think people always think about, and that is if you're a businessman, if I were to tell you I have a vehicle, and whether it's electric or not, I have a vehicle that I can increase your profits and everybody wants to buy one. In fact, I'm going to double your sales immediately out of the gate. Would you have an interest in that?
Absolutely.
Of course you would. You're in business where it's about making money. But when you can't make money and they're shoving it down your throat, it's prohibitive. It screws everything up.
Well, there's the key right there.
Yeah.
It's the mandate.
Yeah.
And it's an unrealistic and unreasonable mandate. Nobody, again, you heard Tom, nobody's opposed to clean air.
Do you remember?
Finding,
Do you remember the mandate on leaf blowers? Remember the mandate on your weed whacker? Remember the electric mandate on your lawnmowers? Guess what? The sales of those are on fire right now. It's like they're really selling. A lot of people own like an electric leaf blower. But the market, it progressed through the market.
And it works.
And
The
it
product
works. Because you can plug it in at your home.
It's lightweight.
It's lightweight. It's easy to
Mobile.
do. It works. The problem you have is there is no infrastructure for this, let alone cars on the road that are electric. It's very difficult to find a charging station. And then we all know that when it gets really cold, the battery doesn't last as long.
Well, that's the issue, right? You have to look at this. You have to look at it from, and I'm going to continue to reiterate, what's realistic, what's reasonable, how do you obtain these goals and objectives? And I think that's the problem. It's people immediately right now are basing their policy decisions more on ideology as opposed to looking at this and saying we can transition into, and I'm a former chair of the Energy Committee.
Yeah.
So I always talked about how do we embrace clean energy, but do it in a method and manner that makes sense. And Tom, he was exasperated because nobody was listening to.
Yeah.
That's the other issue, right?
That's right.
Policies being made, we should talk to the people on the ground and say, okay, let's work with you and let's see how do we achieve this objective. What is your opinion and perspective? That's why, luckily, we had the opportunity when we could get the state was unresponsive, and again, this is a reflection of one-party control in Albany, where we arranged Tom to meet with the EPA.
Right.
And that was huge. That was huge. We met with Mike Martucci, EPA Region 2.
And that's federal.
That's federal.
Correct.
Yeah.
That's the difference here.
Yes, and he told us the way that this was going to play out. He said that we've got a couple of choices: litigation, lawsuits, or having the federal government get involved and pulling the carpet out from underneath New York State, and that's just what they did.
And Trump signed it into
June
law,
12th.
and that
12th.
has
Yeah.
changed everything. It affected California, but it applied to everybody in the country.
That's right.
Yeah.
And yesterday, Assemblywoman Buttonshaw had a forum with NYSERDA and Office of Renewable Energy and the DEC, the same people that have been talking so highly of electric. NYSERDA increased their grants for electric vehicles, and I got a chance to speak, and I said, I think you're looking at this wrong. The goal is clean air.
Right.
The goal doesn't have to be an electric vehicle.
Right.
The goal is clean air. I said, so why don't you take your grant money and give it to people that have older diesel trucks to get them off the road
Yeah.
into newer diesel vehicles? You're going to get to your goal faster.
Right, right. And at some point, the technology will catch up.
Absolutely.
And you got to wait for that.
And he bears witness to the fact that you get this bureaucratic mindset, right, where they feel they know best, and even when they engage with you, some of them are rude,
Yeah.
because they feel that they're
Well,
going to
you're
tell
stupid.
Yeah, and I
arrogant was the
Yeah,
word
yeah.
I had in mind.
Yeah.
And when you look at organizations that, like you talked about yesterday with NYSERDA, I mean they're doing what they're being told, from the governor's office, and there are like-minded people being put in there based on the ideology. And ORIS, which was created as part of this clean energy agenda, really supersedes all of local control, home rule. We're a home rule state, but when they created this office, now they can overrule any local government. Basically, if it's a clean energy proposal, and even if the local government says we don't like it, don't want it, they're going to say, well, it's too bad because we need it, and thank you for your input, but it doesn't matter. And I think, and put that in contrast to what we did with the New York Regional Interconnect back over a decade ago now, where we were able to stop that transmission line. They really didn't. They were going to destroy upstate New York. Yeah. And we formed an 8-county coalition. You won't have that type of success. And this is not a NIMBY thing, not in my backyard. It's just how are you approaching?
Is that what that's called now? NIMBY? Not in my backyard.
Right.
There's a lot of that.
Right.
Right.
Well, but this isn't that. It's
right.
also
It is not.
It's being done fairly.
Yeah.
And again, reasonably. We've lost common sense, and
it is another example of allowing the market to guide the manufacturing, the products, and supply and demand, and all of that. If you don't have demand, we're seeing that with Danfoss right now. If you don't have demand, you got a lot of supply, and you have yourself a problem.
Well, that's a concern too with some of the industry, right? And they're making decisions, but when they're solely relying, what I've found, and we've talked about this in our economy regionally, diversity is the key to success, in my opinion. When you rely on one particular segment of industry, you live and die with that, and we've seen that throughout the years. But even in industry, though, when you're just going to ramp up with one particular area of specialization, then the burden is on that individual. And we can talk about that, too. There's a lot of state and federal money that go in, local money that go into some of these companies. There's got to be a way when they just decide to leave that they pay that money back, too. They need to be held accountable for the investment that the government has made in their operations. There are a lot of different and better ways to do economic development, in my opinion, but right now that's part of it, these incentives, but there also has to be some ability to have clawbacks and we do have some statutes.
I mean, are you talking at all about Danfoss?
Right.
But they're not moving out yet. You're hoping that they're Chapter 11. You're smiling
No,
when I say that.
That's, you're talking about Wolfspeed now.
Wolfspeed.
Yeah, Danfoss is a little different. They are talking about,
and Wolfspeed seems to be hiring. They're hiring those that are.
They had their leadership here talking about the continued investment. I'm talking about two things from my opinion. This is strictly my opinion here. Number one, when your industry is solely reliant or dependent upon one particular area, then you're going to live and die with whatever happens.
They were relying on not only EVs. One area, but not only EVs, but it was a brand of they were a certain car brand.
And then as a result of that, when there's incentives, government funding that is being provided, I just think there's got to be an accountability there and to the taxpayer.
Is there not? Hasn't there been?
There is some.
Wasn't that attached?
There is some provisions.
And you wouldn't trigger it now when they're trying to survive.
But
if they were to leave.
No, that's what I'm saying. When you leave, this is not on Wolfspeed because they are doing the right thing right now. This is when you talk about Danfoss right now and what's happening there.
Yeah.
I mean, there are elements of contract and in statute at the state level. I'm just saying that we need to be a little more aggressive.
Can I ask you, because there's been a lot of rumor, is Danfoss leaving? They're saying no yet. They're saying no.
Conversations there, but there's a real significant ramping down.
There's a big problem.
The workforce there.
Now you would hope that by the end of the year they're able to ramp back up, or what's the writing on the wall here? You feel
my point is I don't know the business model specifically,
right.
What they're depending or relying on. So if it's on a particular segment of the economy that maybe is not moving, and then you're going to live and die with that. And but again, that's a judgment based
back to the Danfoss thing. I think the county executive is kind of giving it a let's wait and see what happens before we.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah,
I agree with that, and the county has been involved under his leadership and because they're in bringing this type of industry here. And I think we talked about that too. We have to position ourselves to take advantage of emerging technology and opportunities in industry, whether it's in the drones or whatever is out there, chip fabs. So sometimes people will criticize And I think that's unjustified criticism because you're making the effort and undertaking initiatives basically reflecting on what's emerging and where's there an opportunity for this economy to grow. Now, you can't control what happens in the industry, and there's the burden lies on the industry in that regard, as how are they approaching their product and research and development. And all I'm saying is that when the government is involved, and we do have certain protocols that exist, but we need to re-examine those and to ensure that the taxpayers being safeguarded and that money ultimately, I mean, if something is there for 20 years or something, I'm just talking about.
But if they're a company that's blowing up and they're going south, so to speak, they're going under, you're not going to be able to. What are you going to get out of them? That's part of the problem. Where these, I get it, putting those restrictions on, but you also don't want to trigger the restrictions like a payback when they're in the middle of trying to recover. If that's you hope that's what they're doing, but we really don't know.
Yeah, well,
is that what you're saying?
I understand, and I'm just saying that.
I'm asking you. I don't really know. So.
You could ask Ellie that, right? You don't really know a lot. I know that, right?
So. That's what I'm told, Joe. That's what I'm.
But no, I'm just saying just generally. Look, we always have to be here to foster and to support emerging industry. And as I said, you have to look at things from a durability standpoint. How long have you been around? I mean, obviously, if you help somebody initially and they're here 20 years, they have a bad experience or downturn in the economy. Understand all that.
Yeah.
We saw that in Chrysler, with Chrysler, and we saw it with the federal government and what we did during some of the crises that took place, right?
Mm-hmm.
So there's a role here, but there's also got to be protections too.
Okay.
You can't just indiscriminately provide funding and then there's no recourse.
All right, congratulations on your anniversary.
Thank you. 70 years.
Utica Mac, 70 years.
He looks pretty good.
He looks really good. So, all right, we'll do a quick break and come back. We're at Boulevard Diner in Whitesboro, and it's a great spot for great food, great breakfast, and lunch, and even into dinner time as well. Boulevard Diner in Whitesboro. This is what we call Joe Time. If you have a question for Senator Griffo, come on in. We have somebody with a question right now, and we're going to get to that coming up at WIBX.
Good morning, WIBX 950 AM 92.3 FM. I'm Megan Stone with your news update. 2 men were charged for attempted sexual acts on minors. The Cayuga County Sheriff's Office launched an operation involving multiple agencies to catch child predators. Police arrested Troy Bullock of Auburn and Jeremy Sotar of Weedsport, both 45, and charged them with second-degree attempted rape for seeking sexual acts from those under 15. Sotar faces an additional charge of distributing indecent material, which is a felony. He was on parole after being convicted as a level 3 sex offender involving a child. He is being held without bail. Bullock was released on $2,500 bail. Those with information on these men are asked to come forward. Rome police are looking into an animal cruelty case after finding a dead dog. Authorities say they were called to 115 Stanwyck Street around 10:30 a.m. Monday and found the dead dog in the driveway. Authorities did not disclose the circumstances that may have led to the dog's death, and an investigation is ongoing. Police are also looking into the responsible parties. Anyone with information is urged to contact police at 315-339-7744 or can leave a 100% anonymous tip with the Mohawk Valley Crime Stoppers at 866-730-8477. A memorial service will be held this weekend for 2 6-year-old girls who lost their lives after a tornado sent a tree into their Clark Mills home. Family and friends of Emily and Kenny Bisson will gather from 4 p.m. until 7 p.m. Sunday at Owens, Pavla, and Rogers Funeral Service in Clinton. That twister struck last Sunday and also ended up killing 50-year-old Shelley Johnson after a tree fell onto her bed. Her memorial will take place Wednesday, also at Owens, Pavla, and Rogers Funeral Service. And researchers at the University of Virginia School of Medicine say a microscopic discovery could lead to new treatments for diseases like Alzheimer's. Research conducted with assistance from the National Institutes of Health has identified a subcellular unit called the hemifusome. Scientists say the unit is responsible for recycling old material and flushing it out of cells. A breakdown in that process can lead to the buildup of plaque that often leads to Alzheimer's and other serious neurogenetic diseases. Researchers now plan to investigate the structure of hemifusomes in hopes of finding new therapies for those diseases. Your Weather Center forecast is next, and it's brought to you by John's Mobile Home Parts and Accessories in Oriskany Falls. For all your mobile home needs, it's worth the trip. Visit johnsmobilehomeparts.com for more info.
Cloudy starting off this Friday. There may be an occasional shower popping up during the afternoon with winds out of the east and a highly hitting 73. And then scattered showers and storms will move through tonight with a low dropping down to 62. It's going to be a wet start to the weekend with showers and thunderstorms on Saturday and a high near 84, clearing Sunday with a high near 80. I'm Jeff Marr at the Weather Channel on WIBX 950 AM and 92.3 FM.
It's hard to know what to do when you lose a loved one. You need someone you can trust to help you navigate all the options. Mohawk Valley Monuments has been providing comfort and delivering quality memorials in our community for over 95 years. Mohawk Valley Monuments has experience with all the local cemeteries, from simple grave markings to intricate family mausoleums. For personalized service, call us today at 315-724-7629 or visit us at mohawkvalleymonuments.com.
Looking for a reliable ride without the brand new price tag? Come to Steed Pawnee Chevrolet in Herkimer and check out our huge selection of Car Bravo certified pre-owned vehicles. Virtually all makes and models, all backed by a certified warranty and low financing options. Right now, qualified buyers get rates as low as 3.9% for 36 months on popular models like the Chevy Equinox, Trailblazer, Traverse, and Malibu. Take the stress out of car shopping and receive the buying experience you deserve from your local family-owned dealership. You'll drive with confidence in a Car Bravo certified pre-owned vehicle from Steed Pawnee Chevrolet in Herkimer. But hurry, these deals won't last. You must take delivery by June 30th. Together, let's drive to Steed Pawnee Chevrolet, State Route 28 in Herkimer, or online anytime at SteedPawneeChevy.com. All taxes and fees additional. Customer must qualify for top-tier credit through GM Financial. See salesperson for details.
The Potting Shed Antiques in Whitesboro is buying silver, gold, gold-filled, vintage costume, estate jewelry, and U.S. and Canadian coins. They've been your hometown buyer for over 50 years. While other gold and silver buyers claim to offer the highest prices, the Potting Shed Antiques actually delivers. Let Don Hartman take a look at your individual pieces or your entire collection. The Potting Shed Antiques, open Thursdays, Fridays, and Saturdays. Please call ahead for an appointment. Visit thepottingshedantiques.com.
WIBX.
This is Keeler.
WIBX 950 and 92.3 FM.
Now back to the Keeler Show.
And good morning. We are live from Boulevard Diner in Whitesboro for this Friday heading into the week. Another cloudy day. And, boy, it's incredible. Brian Miller, I'm going to bring in Joe here in a second. Brian, I was like, after we went through these days of 93, 94 degrees, all of a sudden yesterday was like a shock. And I guess okay, right? If you don't like the heat, it was like, it wasn't even 70. It started out about 72, and then we went down to like 65 yesterday. So
yeah, we're just back into that, pattern from
weird
October.
Pattern. Yeah.
But,
Just
it
really
was hot
crazy
for the last couple of days.
It was. And the weekend will be low 80s this weekend.
Well,
so.
we got graduations today. I was just at a gas station. One of the employees there was talking about his daughter graduating tonight from Sequoia. And
nice.
he was hoping it was going to be nice. And, of course, I assured him the weather's going to be good.
Yeah, it is going to be good. I think tomorrow maybe a thunderstorm, but nothing, I don't think, we hope, not too crazy. End of session, we've talked about it. It's just been, some of the stuff that passed, it's like a broken record. It's so very difficult.
Well, it's just one thing after another.
Yeah.
The session, we talked, I was on last week. 6 weeks late budget session dragged on. We had an extended session. The Senate got out. They were more efficient than the Assembly. But some bills didn't make it out there that we were very happy about. The recycling bill didn't make it, and things like that. But we're in a real weird political climate right now. We saw what happened down in New York City.
The city, yeah. There's and there is the Democratic Party splitting on a candidate here and the direction in which the party may very well be going, especially in cities like New York City.
Well, Brian serves with them, so
Yes,
he
I
would.
do.
He
I
had
sit
a
on
probably
the
better.
Real Property Taxation Committee with Mondami.
He probably wants to give away all the property, right?
He very seldom makes it to committee meetings, and but he is who he is.
Yeah.
And
Is it Mondami or Momdami? Because the governor could not get it right. The governor mispronounced his name like each time, but different ways. It was quite interesting, I thought, yesterday.
I'm probably going to get it wrong about 12 times too.
Probably,
Mondami.
I don't serve in that chamber, so I haven't really interacted with him, except for the day that he was trying to protest outside one of the events that was taking place at the Capitol meetings. But again, I think a lot of this, and he was a community organizer. When you look at that, and you look at what they bring to this, is the running of a public corporation. That's the way I look at this, right? It's not you got to run a government, you got to meet budget, and you've got to look at employee concerns and interests. You got to deliver services, and we've mentioned this before. That on primary night, I saw these elections taking place in Buffalo, in Rochester, in Albany, in Syracuse, as well as New York City. And the thing that struck me that night when I heard these victorious candidates on the Democratic primary winners that night is they were all talking about federal issues, talking about how they're going to fight for democracy, how they're going to look at sanctuary status for their communities. To me, I understand you can have an ideology, Bill, but the responsibility of the mayor as the chief executive officer of a public corporation is to deliver services, to keep the taxes down, to make sure people are safe, to clean the streets. And none of them are talking about operations or services to their constituents.
Yeah, let's just break. You and I kind of argued about this a little while ago. So all I'm saying is,
just make a good radio now.
In New York City, these federal issues are an issue in New York City and here's why. And here's why I'm going to tell you. Not only do I think I'm right, but I am.
You're not,
here's
because
why.
the city's a mess.
I didn't say it wasn't.
Well, but then again, if you're going to focus on federal issues, that's why it's a mess.
My point is that prior to this guy, and I don't expect things to get any better, but prior to him, it's a sanctuary city. They've had migrants housed in hotels. They're coming up with money to support the migrants. These issues are an issue for this mayor, whoever it might be. They're going to have to deal with it. Now, I have no confidence that Bobani, what's his name again? Sorry. And it's not meant with any disrespect. I'm just saying, I have no confidence that he's going to make it better. In fact, he probably will make it worse. But I'm just saying that makes it relevant. Let's let Brian Miller be the judge.
I can see this both ways right here.
There's both ways.
We talked to Joe about it yesterday. In running the city, and he's absolutely right. There's things that have to be done. It is a public business, and
get the garbage.
You got the garbage, public
the
safety,
streets,
the MTA. You got to make sure things are running.
For God's sakes, make the city safe.
But
and that's a problem.
New York City has made the federal issues
their issue. That's my point.
Along with
he sees both
along
of
with the
But
government.
it's beyond the federal issues, though. That's why you can't run a city and make your city more livable.
Are you trying to drag me into defending New York City politics? I'm not doing that.
I appreciate that.
Yeah, I'm not
because
going
if
that.
you look at it, because people said the city is ungovernable, unmanageable when it was under David Dinkins. The city was a disaster then. And you had, whether you like the guy or not right now, forget about the politics right now, right? Rudy Giuliani got elected. He turned the city around. The murder rate went down. People felt safer. And Mike Bloomberg continued that.
Do you agree that Cuomo probably is the best choice to be the, quote, Rudy Giuliani, potentially?
Yeah, I do.
Yeah.
I think so. I mean, Curtis Lewa could, too, potentially. Yeah. But, I mean,
he's got to take the beret off, though.
You got to remember.
That's not going to happen.
It may look good even on you, So,
you're right.
But the idea there is, what is your focus, right?
Yeah.
It's quality of life issues, and that's what Giuliani did successfully, and Bloomberg after him. And I think that's the difference now. When you had De Blasio, De Blasio was like perpetually late, missed things, was away a lot.
Yeah.
You've got to focus on the mechanics of a city before you can get into taking positions on federal issues.
Can I just an observation, just one observation here, but here in a city like New York, which person carries the most weight to make an endorsement, AOC or Bill Clinton? The answer, AOC. Bill Clinton endorsed Cuomo, and it had zero impact.
But now you need guys that are political analysts to talk about this, and that's why I said you have to review this, examine this, to determine what all entered into this equation. And you've got to be realistic when you do that, right?
Yeah.
You've got to say, as you indicated, these are young people,
It's a different
and they
city
feel
today.
they feel a certain way.
Yeah.
But again, I don't even think young people, if they understood it, when you tell them, "Oh, we're going to give you free bus transportation, free subways," there's no such thing as free. Who's paying for that?
The key is if they understood it. And that is the problem. I think a lot of this younger group, a lot of college students, they're out there protesting. They have no idea what they're really protesting.
But in the end,
that's a problem.
That has been an age-old thing, though.
Yeah.
True, right?
Yeah.
I mean, when you're that age, you're engaged and you're energized, and that's a good thing. The problem is you've got to make that distinction. Is if you want a free bus ride, at some point, and even if he taxes the wealthy, it's not going to pay for that.
Right.
And then ultimately, who pays for this? And so you've got to address affordability, but you've got to do it in a realistic way too. And that's
I want to switch gears because I'm going nowhere with you. This is terrible.
Well, look at the $50 million that the governor just provided for illegals. Defense money
I'm not
is
defending
crazy.
that. I'm
crazy
with you.
stuff.
I think it's crazy. These are crazy policies. We're on the same page here. We
Look who
really
I brought
are on
in.
the same page. That's good.
Now maybe we
should
can
ask me
broker
first.
the peace.
No. And that's not happening. So and I will explain.
Okay.
It
wasn't invited here. It was just I saw yesterday.
Okay. So I want to talk about.
I would never invite anybody to your show.
I want to talk about issues.
End of session. Can we talk about the end of session?
I want to go somewhere else.
All right.
I think that there's a real problem with tornado warnings or weather warnings. Some people got it. We lived smack dab in the middle of the tornado warning.
Oh, absolutely.
We received nothing.
Well, the first thing is what you indicated is that we've got to acknowledge and recognize that you're having more extreme weather events. For a long time in our area, people would say, I don't mind being here because we can put up with the snow, right? We don't have the earthquakes, the tornadoes, and the hurricanes, those kind of things. We are experiencing some of that now and more regularly. And I think as a result of that, you need to be better prepared as to how we handle this relative to what type of insurances we need now, what type of protections you need, what you can educate people. I want to compliment the county executive, Pacenti, the local officials here, because they are doing their part, I think, in trying to not only respond, but also to prepare people. But you're right. And what we can learn now from this, because, again, this is something new here, right? Well, let's look at what they do down in Tornado Alley. How do they recognize, identify the problem?
Let's learn from the people who know what they're doing.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And then we're going to have to try to implement those type of things here now, as much as we would hope and pray it doesn't happen.
Brian.
Well, it's a good time right now to do a root cause analysis and corrective action plan. We've been getting a lot of emails the last couple of days. Some constituents, residents, in the Kirkland area, asking for tornado sirens. I don't know if we have to go that far, but we really have to take a good look at.
Well, with all the solar panels apparently causing these tornadoes, I keep hearing that, and I don't think there's any real evidence to prove that. But do we need to go to sirens?
We need redundancy.
Yeah.
So I do believe that the tried and true work. We have the old warning systems here, so we can. Why don't again? To me, combinations are the best thing, right? Diversity combinations. And if you look at it, use technology. We have reverse 911. We have the ability to send text messages and warnings on your phones. In fact, I think I saw Bill Carter showing people how to set those notifications up because people may not have realized what they could and should do.
Here's the other problem. The notifications could have been set up, and then a change happens, and maybe you don't have it set up anymore.
Exactly.
This is
a new phone that happens. I've learned that.
Well, a lot of things happened, and we're learning a lot from this. But it did happen at 3:30 in the morning.
I know.
Okay, so we had a perfect storm.
It was.
But it's a good time for the county emergency services to take a real good look at this and to see where we can go.
Well, it's actually the state, Brian. You should be looking at this now statewide, working with our local partners.
Right. I didn't get a chance to get that far. It's got to be, it's got to be regionally, because we seem to be getting hit in a region right now, right along the Route 5 corridor.
Do you also think that there's an education part of this? So in both cases, tragedies, they were awake. In both cases, they knew they were in really dangerous weather. But at what point, now, I can tell you that my wife and I were awake, and I never heard wind outside our windows like this ever before. But we were sitting there saying, are we overblowing this? Are we stupid by going down into the basement? Or do we sit here and kind of wait it out? And that's kind of what the victims in this case did, and they ultimately waited it out in the bedroom where tragedy occurred. So I kind of think there has to be an education part of this, too.
Well, this was heartbreaking.
It's terrible.
And we really offer our condolences to these
And they're
families.
not alone. I'm not trying to say they did anything different than probably so many. How many people really went into their basement? And how many sat there and said, I'm not going to overblow this thing? And it could have been a fatal mistake for anyone.
Right. Well, you're right. Weather's changing. This could be Tornado Alley, New York.
Right.
For all we know right now.
Yeah, I mean, the bottom line here is, as you said, there's a combination of things. It's education, it's preparation, it's responding, and now as a result of this and what we're beginning to see, the state has begun to do this over the last several years, actually under the former governor, where you've identified different areas of the state and allocated resources so you can respond quickly. I think we're learning this, and now we've got to prepare differently, and I think as a result of that, hopefully we'll be better positioned when we face these severe weather events in the future.
Terrible, though, in Clark Mills.
Yes.
Very sad.
Heartbreaking.
Very sad.
Just, I don't know that you can come up with much of a worse story and a worse turnout. And if you go to the village of Clinton, which was hit horrifically as well, without the loss of life, but those two little girls went to school at Clinton, and it is one of the most touching, inspiring, but sad things in the world if you, as you travel through Clinton, and you see all of the sidewalks, chalk art, and it's all done in honor of these two little girls. It's and a way for a lot of these kids to deal with the loss of their friends. So, pretty sad. I know you have something special for Boulevard Diner here, which we're going to do on the other side of news. We want to chat with them just a little bit. We have a lot more coming in. I see Jim Rondinelli in already with his Bills are going to be a Super Bowl champion hat on already. We'll break and come back here. Hold tight at WIBX.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm.
Hi, I'm Chuck McDowell, the timeshare cancellation guy and founder of Wesley Financial Group, and I want to set the record straight. I am not an attorney. I've never wanted to be an attorney, and the truth is I really don't even like attorneys. If I sound like an attorney or if I look like an attorney, I'll apologize. But what I've learned in my 15 years in the timeshare cancellation business is you don't need to be an attorney to get folks out of their timeshare. At Wesley, we've helped over 40,000 families cancel their timeshare without me being an attorney. And I want to share with you how we do it. Just give my office a call, and you will not talk to an attorney. And I guarantee if we take you as a client, we'll get you out of your timeshare, or you'll pay nothing.
Call now for your free timeshare exit info kit. 800-601-5050. 800-601-5050. That's 800-601-5050.
It happens more than you think. A customer wants, needs the goods and services your business offers. No matter how hard they try, they can't find you, but they find your competitor right there at the top of the results page.
And even if they do find your website, when they click, it's like a ghost town.
Hello?
Outdated, not compelling, and perhaps worse, it has information that's not accurate.
Y2K?
But how do you fix that? At Town Square Interactive, we have the tools to help you maximize your online presence. Just go to mylocalcustomers.com and start by getting a free local customer analysis.
This online tool will show you just how many customers in your area you could be reaching
To get in front of those customers, we will build a premium website for your business.
One that shows up well in web searches and converts website clicks into phone calls, appointments, and foot traffic.
It's simple, it's fast, and it's affordable. Go to mylocalcustomers.com and get started by getting your free local customer analysis today.
Hey, I want to tell you about Brand Construction. If you're in need of concrete work or masonry work, there's nobody that does a better job. Old stone walls or block wall stairs, solid-way entrances, basement floors, garage floors, they have you covered. They'll get the job done right and right on time. Call Brand Construction at 315-894-3481 for Brand Construction. And the Falcon Clinic in Washington Mills is accepting new patients. The Falcon Clinic is the area's premier osteopathic medical clinic, and they're accepting new patients right now. If you're in need of a new doctor, a new family doctor, or even a second opinion, call the Falcon Clinic today. And have you been tested? If you're a baby boomer, you should be. Have you been tested for hepatitis C? Dr. Shemaleski is Hep C certified. Call 315-507-4751. It is the Falcon Clinic in Washington Mills. News is next on WIBX.
From the Stanley Theater Studio, WIBX Utica, Rome.
W295EI.
WIBX 950 and 92.3 FM, celebrating 100 years.
A one-week deadline. Gianna Gelosi, Fox News. President Donald Trump wants his spending bill passed by the 4th of July, so he held an event to push Senate Republicans along. Fox's Madeline Rivera has the details from Washington.
Commerce Secretary Howard Lutnick called the president's event motivational. The president says the bill would lead to $1.7 trillion in savings. But the bill has hit some major snags after the Senate parliamentarian rejected some key provisions, including some related to Medicaid. These were key to help offset the cuts of the bill, a must for fiscal conservatives. Some Senate Republicans admit the parliamentarians' ruling could delay their work, but the White House is optimistic the bill will head to the president's desk by July 4th. Senate Majority Leader John Thune says he won't overrule the parliamentarian. Democrats are praising her findings meantime as they continue to slam the Republican bill.
Now, Democrats continue to argue the bill will primarily benefit wealthy Americans and corporations. The Trump administration continues to push back on an initial government report leaked that suggested U.S. strikes against Iran's nuclear sites only set the nuclear program back by a few months.
President Trump is calling out the left after intelligence about the U.S. strikes on Iran's nuclear sites was leaked to the press. The president posting, quote, "The Democrats are the ones who leaked the information on the perfect flight to the nuclear sites in Iran. They should be prosecuted." The FBI is now investigating the leak, and the White House is now tightening its circle, saying they will limit access to classified information to Congress. Senators did receive a closed-door classified briefing yesterday. It was led by CIA Director John Ratcliffe, Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth, and Joint Chiefs Chair General Dan Kane. But Republicans and Democrats remain divided over Iran's nuclear capabilities after the strikes.
Fox's Brooke Singman. Democratic senators also remain doubtful following a classified briefing about the strikes, called for more information. America's listening to Fox News.
Let's see, if something costs less, a lot less, but people are actually happier with it, that sounds like something to look into, and that's MetaShare. Maybe you've heard joining MetaShare can save you or your family up to $500 a month, and that's huge, but it's also true. People are just happier with it. They love being part of something that reflects and promotes their values and what they believe in. MetaShare works, too. It's been around for 30 years now, and members have shared more than $7 billion of each other's bills. People love having telehealth and a huge nationwide PPO network. So, yeah, really, you can save a ton and like it better. Imagine being happy with how you're taking care of your health care, whether you're self-employed or part of the gig economy, or you just want a plan that you're happy with. Here you go. You can call right now and get a price within 2 minutes. A very, very smart use of 2 minutes. Here's the number you need. It's 866-89-BIBLE. That's 866-89-BIBLE. 866-89-BIBLE.
The Supreme Court expected to release its final 6 opinions today as it wraps up its term for the summer.
The court has 6 cases left, including one that will determine if federal judges can issue nationwide injunctions, rulings that temporarily stop a rule or law from taking effect, but apply it to the whole country. 3 judges issued such injunctions after the president signed an order ending birthright citizenship. The court may not issue a ruling today on it, though, since they heard arguments later in the term. Another significant ruling includes one that will determine if religious parents can opt out of having certain books read to their children at school. Thursday, one of the more significant rulings had the justices siding with the state of South Carolina's rule that bars Medicaid dollars from being spent at Planned Parenthood because the agency performs abortions. Jessica Rosenthal, Fox News.
Trial of Brian Kohberger, who's accused of killing 4 University of Idaho students in 2022, is ready to begin. Fox's Shanley Painter.
After a recent closed-door hearing where Brian Kohberger's defense was supposed to present evidence connecting others to the crime, the judge didn't buy it, saying, quote, "The evidence defendant has offered purporting to establish the 4 individuals as alternate perpetrators objectively fails to meet the Meister standard. Namely, the evidence is entirely irrelevant. Nothing links these individuals to the homicides." A last-minute attempt by his lawyers to delay his August trial also failed after the judge issued an order denying his request for more time.
Now, Kohberger could face the death penalty if he is convicted. And U.S. Health Secretary Robert F. Kennedy Jr. says the country is pulling its support from the Vaccines Alliance, Gavi, saying the organization ignored the science and lost the public trust. Kennedy mentioned the partnership with World Health Organization during COVID-19, accusing them of silencing dissenting views and legitimate questions about vaccine safety. Gavi said in a statement Thursday that the utmost concern is the health and safety of children. I'm Gianna Jalusi. This is Fox News.
Good morning, WIBX 950 AM 92.3 FM news time is 8:05. I'm Megan Stone with your news update by the new destination Kia of Utica, Commercial Drive, Yorkville. 62 degrees under cloudy skies. Your full WIBX Weather Center forecast is coming up next. A Watertown woman was arrested after allegedly chasing a man with a knife. According to New York State Police, troopers were called to a residence on Ridge Road in Watertown for a domestic dispute. Authorities say they spoke with the male victim who had blood running down his face. The victim claimed 48-year-old Heather Gilbert got into his home without permission, struck him in the head with a dragon figure, and chased him with a knife. The man was treated at a local hospital while Gilbert was charged with felony counts of assault, criminal contempt for violating an order of protection, burglary, and weapons possession. She was held on $500 bail. Congresswoman Elise Stefanik is preparing to officially launch her campaign for New York governor. Multiple reports say the Congresswoman will announce her campaign at the time and place of her choosing. Speculation has been swirling for months over whether she would seek election to the top executive office in the Empire State. Polling shows her leading a hypothetical Republican primary. She is a close ally of President Donald Trump. Federal health officials say a children's cough syrup marketed under the brand name Little Remedies is being recalled over microbial contamination. The U.S. Food and Drug Administration released an alert of the voluntary recall issued by MedTech Products, Inc. The recall was issued due to the presence of Bacillus cereus, which can cause 2 kinds of foodborne illnesses, and the loss of shelf stability. The product, Little Remedies Honey Cough Syrup, was distributed nationally in retailers and online from December 14th of 2022 through June 4th, 2025. The cough syrup is packaged in a 4 fluid-ounce amber bottle. Robert F. Kennedy Jr.'s panel of vaccines experts is voting to recommend a new vaccine aiming to protect babies from RSV. The Enflosia shot was approved earlier this month by the FDA and is one step closer to being widely available ahead of RSV season. A second unanimous vote earned the shot a recommendation to be included in the Vaccines for Childcare program. VFC offers free vaccines to kids and families not able to afford them. And President Trump says he's heard reporters from the New York Times and CNN may be fired for reporting on what he called fake stories about the U.S. strikes in Iran. The post on Truth Social, Trump said the reporters would be let go because they got the story wrong. It comes after multiple reports said the strikes only set back Iran's nuclear program by months, while Trump has said it was completely obliterated. Trump said the news conference this morning by the Defense Department about the strikes was one of the greatest, most professional, and most confirming conferences he's ever seen. He's called on news outlets to apologize to American service members who had roles in the strikes. Your WIBX News Time, 8:08. Here is your Weather Center forecast.
Cloudy starting off this Friday. There may be an occasional shower popping up during the afternoon with winds out of the east and a highly hitting 73. And then scattered showers and storms will move through tonight with a low dropping down to 62. It's going to be a wet start to the weekend with showers and thunderstorms on Saturday and a high near 84, clearing Sunday with a high near 80. I'm Jeff Marr at the Weather Channel on WIBX 950 AM and 92.3 FM.
62 degrees under cloudy skies. Let's take a look at sports. Brought to you by the IBEW 43 Local Sports Desk. The 2025 NBA Draft has wrapped up from Brooklyn. The second round was held Thursday, where the Phoenix Suns selected St. Joseph's forward Rasheer Fleming to begin the day. The other highlights of the second round were Creighton center Ryan Kalkbrenner going 34th to the Hornets, Auburn center Joni Broome going to the Philadelphia 76ers, and Duke guard Tyrese Proctor being drafted 49th by the Cleveland Cavaliers. The NHL Draft, that's tonight. With the first round, the Sabres hold the 10 total picks, including the 9th overall. The first round will be held tonight. Rounds 2 through 7 take place tomorrow. The draft takes place in Los Angeles, but it's decentralized this year, so they're using the Buffalo Bills Orchard Park facilities for their draft headquarters. The Islanders have the top overall pick. They're expected to select defenseman Matthew Schaefer. Mets shut out the Braves 4-0. Pete Alonso led the way at the plate after going 3 for 4 with an RBI single. Griffin Canning left the game after suffering a non-contact injury in a third inning. The action continues with the Pirates in a 3-game set tonight. The Yankees begin a weekend series in the Bronx, hosting the Athletics starting tonight at Yankee Stadium. Will Warren slated to toe the rubber for the Pinstripes, who are leading the AL East. Last season's most valuable players from both the American and National Leagues have secured their spot in next month's All-Star Game. Yankees outfielder Aaron Judge and Dodger star Shohei Ohtani were elected by starters by fans on Thursday. Judge led the league with over 4 million votes in the first round of fan balloting. Ohtani topped the NL with over 3.9 million fan votes. Remaining starters will be announced July 2nd. Pitchers and reserves will be revealed July 6th. 2 players are tied atop the leaderboard after the first round of the Rocket Classic. Kevin Roy and Aldrich Potgieter each shot a 10 under 62 in the opening round of the tournament. Minwoo Lee, Mark Hubbard, and Max Gracerman are tied for third at 9 under par. Isaiah Salinda, Justin Lower, and Mac Messner will be among the first group of players teeing off round 2 at Detroit Golf Club. And the green flag waves for the inaugural NASCAR Cup Series and Season Challenge. The field battles in the Quaker State 400 Saturday from Echo Park Speedway. The 5-race bracket-style tournament includes 32 drivers seeded by their best finishes over the last 3 Cup Series races. Denny Hamlin top-seeded overall, while last weekend's Poconos winner Chase Briscoe is second. Your WIBX news time is 8:11, 62 degrees under cloudy skies. WIBX 950 AM, 92.3 FM. I'm Megan Stone.
It's Amerique Credit Union's 75th anniversary, and our high-rate checking account has an unprecedented rate worth celebrating. Get started at amerique.org/high-rate.
Hi folks, this is Rob Hilton. Your family is your greatest treasure. Is your estate plan ready to protect them when it matters most? At Hilton Estate and Elder Law, we understand the importance of getting it right. That's why we offer a free review of your current plan. Together we'll assess it and provide honest feedback to ensure it truly works. No cost, no obligation, just confidence and peace of mind. Let's prepare for the future together. Schedule a free review today.
Hilton, you know the name, they know the law.
Beautiful woodwork adds warmth and charm to any kitchen. But years of use can leave your cabinets worn and faded. When you call Enhance, we'll make your cabinets as good as new again in as little as 1 day for a lot less than you'd pay for traditional refinishing or replacements. Whether you want to renew your cabinet's original finish or completely change their color, just tell us the look you want and we'll help you get it. Or bring your hardwood floors back to life. With most Enhance renewals, you can use your floors again the same day. Plus, there's no mess, no dust, and no odors. Call Enhance today for a free in-home consultation. We'll explain the process, we'll show you how your cabinets or floors will look when we're done, and we promise you'll be really pleased with the price. And when you trust Enhance, you'll get the skilled workmanship and attention to detail we bring to every job. There's no obligation. Call us now at 738-1113. 738-1113.
At the Naimi Auto Group, we believe in honest pricing, quality car care, and a team that treats you with respect, no matter what you drive. Here in Boonville, we like things we can count on: wide roads, bigger trucks, and people you can trust. At Matt Naimi GMC, we share your values: integrity, compassion, and the satisfaction of a hard day's work. Whether it's service or sales, when you drive off our lot, you're not just a customer, you're a part of the family. Matt Naimi GMC, Den Kelly Chevy GMC, Naimi's New Generation Cars, 3 hometown stores, one name you can trust.
Hi, this is Ted Cruz. Join Ben Ferguson and me each weekend for Verdict. We take you behind the scenes for the ultimate insider show. We will bring you the latest news and commentary on everything that's going on in Washington, D.C. with the most up-to-date news and reaction. Your ultimate D.C. insider's guide. Tune in to Verdict with Ted Cruz each and every week with Ben Ferguson.
Airing Sundays at 8 a.m.
Verdict with Ted Cruz. Same time, same channel.
WIBX 950 and 92.3 FM.
BME Company Business Machines and Equipment has been delivering office solutions for businesses in upstate New York for over 30 years. Their success comes from finding the right document management strategies and software solutions for streamlining workflows. Simply put, BME provides fast, reliable service at the best value to keep your business running smoothly. Through BME's strategic partnership with Hummel's Office Plus, they distribute supplies for just about every machine in your office at a great price. BME welcomes the opportunity to serve your business, selling, leasing, and service in Canon and Kyocera devices, as well as FP mailing solutions. An important part of BME's culture is supporting the communities they're fortunate to work in, and BME recognizes that support is one reason for their success. The future of business in BME's area is encouraging, and the company is grateful to be a part of that growth. Call BME Company at 315-574-8200 or visit BMEcompany.com. BME Company Office Solutions. Made simple.
Hey, good morning. You're heading to the airport, right?
Yep, thanks for checking. I like the car. How long have you been a rideshare driver?
About 3 years now. I really enjoy it.
Isn't it hard to make money these days with the price of gas being so high?
Not for me. I use Upside, the free app that gives you cash back for every gallon of gas you buy.
Wait a minute. Are you saying you actually get real money back when you get gas with the Upside app?
Yep, I get real cash back every time I get gas.
Does that actually add up to anything?
I'll make around $200 to $300.
Wow, that's serious extra cash. I'm downloading the Upside app now.
Download the free Upside app now to earn real cash back every time you buy gas. Use promo code DRIVE for an extra 25 cents per gallon bonus on your first tank. You can cash out anytime right to your bank account, PayPal, or a gift card for Amazon and other brands. Just download the free Upside app and use promo code DRIVE for a 25 cents a gallon bonus on your first tank. That's code DRIVE.
It's AmeriQ Credit Union's 75th anniversary, and our high-rate checking account has an unprecedented rate worth celebrating. Get started at ameriq.org/highrate.
Celebrating 100 years.
This is Keeler.
WIBX 950 and 92.3 FM.
Now back to the Keeler Show.
And we're back here at Boulevard Diner, and this is what we call Joe Time, and that is Joe Griffo comes out. We set up a studio here, in this case, at Boulevard Diner, and Joe yells at me, and it debates me. It's been pretty rough this morning, Joe. You've been tough on me.
Than Katie and Mike? What do you think?
I think our debate's far more palatable.
No, thank you very much for covering this. It's something we've done for a number of years now, and go into various coffee shops and restaurants and try to meet with the people where they feel comfortable and they are more than willing to express their opinion or ask questions. We've had a few constituents come up to us. Some want to go on the air, many don't, but it's a great opportunity.
I got to say, what I saw over here at the table, and they're still eating breakfast, is somebody who had a real issue.
Correct.
They did not want to go on the air.
Yep.
And you and your team, Alex,
yep.
you back there, really working to help them out. And that's what this is all about.
Yeah, absolutely. Trying to make sure that we always try to look at different ways to be accessible and available and to interact. And this is something that I came up with several years ago, and it's really worked. People feel comfortable. And, yes, we do follow up on things. And I want to thank Alex Gerald from my staff, who does a great job in coordinating and putting this together. And I got Smitty here holding the mic up. It looks like the Jerry Springer show. I don't know if I'm going to get hit here.
He does have that Steve-O look. All right, let's do
so quickly
the presentation
this
first.
presentation. Yep. So I want to thank the Grimaldi family for hosting us today. Rich and Roxanne did this over 30 years ago. They believe in the community. They invested in the community, and they put together this quality restaurant here that serves so many people great food and great service, and we appreciate what you've done. So on behalf of the state of New York, we want to present this resolution, which was passed unanimously. That doesn't happen in Albany. You know, nobody agrees on anything there. But they did agree that we should recognize and congratulate you on your 30th anniversary. So Rich, and Mike, thank you so much for what you do each and every day. God bless you all, and hope you have continued success. And this is a great place. You guys do an extraordinary job.
Just let somebody do some talking. Let's go. Yeah.
Yeah. How you doing, guys? It was great to have Bill and Joe down here this morning and host them. We've been looking forward to this since 5:30 this morning.
Nice.
So
I thought it was very offensive when you said to me earlier, I used to listen when I was like 3 years old, and now I apparently am that old, but I appreciate that.
You don't look it.
I don't. That's what that's what Grippo lied to me about today.
I don't know if we go that far, Joe. But it was nice to finally meet Bill. My father used to listen to him when we were kids, and here we are today, and we're proud of the restaurant, so it was nice to get this recognition for all of us.
You guys have done a tremendous job. Let's talk to your brother over there.
What's going on, guys? Thank you for stopping down.
Great job that all of you are doing. So
thank you. We appreciate you coming down and kind of helping us out. Community means everything to us, and kind of coming down here and setting up shop in the middle of it means a lot to them.
And anything you want to talk about that you might have been doing out there competing? Anything?
Oh, arm wrestling went very good. Yeah,
everything's
very
going.
Well.
Like
yes,
your father,
across the board.
Your father was telling us you were going up against people. For those who don't know, you're a professional arm wrestler.
Yes, sir.
And you're going up against people that didn't expect you to.
When
wipe
I went
them
up
out,
to Canada,
and you did.
Everybody wasn't expecting what happened. Except me and my team. So, my wife, everybody, kind of knew what I was bringing to the table, and it went
and you
well.
did. All right, nice job.
Thank you.
And let's bring your dad in. Congratulations on not every family gets to be able to pass the torch on. And,
you're right. We're very fortunate that my two boys jumped on and came on and making this place a success. Myself, I would never have changed the new trends and everything, and them coming on with their ideas have just brought it to the next level, and I'm very proud.
Well, you should be, and congratulations, guys. Thanks
so
much.
Much. Thank you very much.
All
Appreciate
right.
it. Joe, thank you very much. It's much appreciated.
Congratulations, guys, and thank you.
Let's let them get a little picture there, and we are, of course, at Boulevard Diner in Whitesboro, and I'm going to let Joe do the introduction here on this. That mic is live. Thank you, guys. Nice job.
So I think we've got Scott Petoniak.
Scott is here.
Line.
Scott, are you there? Good morning, and thanks so much for coming on.
Hey, good morning, gentlemen, and I assume that Senator Grippo is going to get me like a nice little breakfast item or whatever to bring to Rome or whatever, so I can partake of the Boulevard Diner.
Wow, do you need me to bring something over to the club that Scott's going to make? It's always big when Scott comes back home.
Yeah.
And a number of our friends all get together. He can tell some real stories about me, so hopefully today he's going to focus on sports. But no, Scott, thanks for joining us. And Scott got his start in journalism, in media in Rome, and I think this is an anniversary for you, right, Scott? And then he went on to Gannett and has been very successful in a lot of covering the national, international events. But tell us a little bit about the start.
Well, the start was 52 years ago today. I was playing today, yes, Legion baseball for Lee Legion Post, which was just north of Rome. And I had wrecked my thumb, and our coach, Fiore DeCosti, knew that I was going to Syracuse that summer, late summer, to study journalism. And he said, well, do you want to do the game stories? And I go, sure. And so my payment with the Rome Sentinel, or the Daily Sentinel, was a byline, which was more than enough payment for me. And so my first byline appeared in a game story. I cringe looking back at that story now, but we all have to start somewhere, right? So I started as an 18-year-old.
And you started with the columns, and now how many books have you written, and what was some of the more exciting things that you've had a chance to cover over the years?
Well, books, I think if you include like ones I've contributed to or totally written, either co-authored, whatever, I'm up to close to 40 now, Joe.
Wow.
And got a few more projects going on. I'm doing a lot of work with the Baseball Hall of Fame in Cooperstown. I've done a lot of writing for them through the years, and we've got some projects we're working on. As far as events, the big ones I did cover for Gannett News Service and USA Today. 5 Olympics. I was in Australia, in Beijing, in Greece, in Norway, and Atlanta, and a bunch of Super Bowls, including, sadly, all 4 Buffalo Bills Super Bowl losses I covered.
Yeah.
From wide right on.
Well, that, Scott, just to interrupt for a moment, that all comes to an end this year. Just so I think we can all agree, this is the year. I say it every year. I'm a Mets fan, too. This is also the year. So, yes, continue. But this is the year.
I think there's no reason other than, God forbid, an injury to number 17, Josh Allen. It's all laid out for them, guys, because the schedule is very advantageous. Their 4 toughest games against, defending Super Bowl champion Philadelphia Eagles, Kansas City, their arch nemesis, Baltimore in the first game of the year, and Cincinnati, the 4 toughest games on their schedule, are all at home. You got Josh Allen coming off his MVP season. He just got married. He's in the prime of his career. And it's the last year of the stadium. So what a fitting send-off this would be to, win the AFC Championship game to close out, this stadium. And lead in, win a Super Bowl and bring the Lombardi Trophy so you can display it in the new one next year.
I think it's perfect.
Right? He's already got 1 trophy, right? So he got married, right? Yeah.
Well, I got to tell you, it's it's about time, and I know this is not necessarily football, but Allen had been ignored by the national advertisers. I mean, every once in a while you get into a commercial, but now you're seeing him in the off season. He's in some big. All of a sudden, they're realizing this may very well be the best quarterback in football, and the rest of the country is starting to figure it out.
Yeah, I think and in addition to his, he's doing things on the football field I've never seen before. I mean, he's got just an incredible arm. He's big. He's mobile, and he's tough. But the thing I really like about Josh is he is such a tremendous ambassador for Buffalo. Buffalo, like much of upstate New York, has to take a lot of crap about weather, economy, this, that, whatever. And, I think we all know, it's a great, great place. Upstate New York is a fabulous place. It's, there's just so much to offer up here. And I think he embodies kind of like he was overlooked, didn't get he got one major college scholarship offer. He had to go to junior college first, and then he was he's drafted and everybody's already, wow, he was very inaccurate in college. He didn't play against the highest level of competition, la, 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 la. So he kind of carries that big chip on his shoulder pads the way that Buffalo and upstate New York does. We'll show you. And I think he embodies us, and I think people really appreciate that.
Well, hopefully he makes Buffalo home, him and his wife now, like Jim Kelly did. And I guess there's going to be a little movie on Jim Kelly coming up, as well as the other biopic on John Madden. I think there are going to be some interesting movies on some of these guys. But Kelly became synonymous with Buffalo.
Yeah.
Right.
I think people realize when they come up here, they realize when they come to Buffalo, they've heard all the bad stuff. And for some, it is a problem. But you know what? It's such – these fans get so behind this team that it's something I think these players treasure for life.
Yeah, I think there's a sense of community. There's a in Buffalo is a big small city or a small big city.
That's a small town feel.
Yeah, there really is, and there is a tremendous sense of community. People help one another. They have each other's backs and stuff. And I think that, like Jim Kelly didn't want to come here. I mean, he made it known, like no, I'm not coming there. Blah 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 blah. I went to the USFL, and then he fell in love with the place when he got there. Because he realized this is where I was meant to be, and I think that's kind of a similar feeling with Josh. Like, it's just it's just a great place. Anybody who lives in upstate New York, we know the real deal.
Listen, I got to tell you, it's more than just chicken wings. It's also Parmesan spaghetti or whatever that is. Holy crap, that's good. It's like the cheesiest thing you'll ever eat, and it's a Buffalo thing. It's really, really good. Okay.
Scott, thanks for joining us. Appreciate it. Look forward to seeing you in a little while.
Yeah, me too. Thanks so much, guys. Always great to be back in the Mohawk Valley on the airwaves.
And we'd love to get you in studio sometime when you're in town. Thanks so much.
All right. Thanks so much.
All right, Scott. Scott Petoniak, you can check out on Amazon. How many books was that? A ton of them, so you can check that all out. We'll come right back to Boulevard Diner. Sheriff Rob Machel is coming up with Senator Joe Griffo. The Senator's Joe Time in our makeshift studio here at Boulevard Diner on WIBX.
Good morning, WIBX 950 AM 92.3 FM. I'm Megan Stone with your news update, brought to you by the new destination Kia of Utica, Commercial Drive, Yorkville. New Hartford police are investigating a hit-and-run involving an elderly pedestrian. According to authorities, they were called to the New Hartford Presbyterian Church parking lot around 9:20 p.m. Wednesday. Police say 82-year-old Barbara West of Utica was struck in the parking lot, and the vehicle fled the scene. West was taken by helicopter to Upstate University Hospital, where she is expected to survive. Authorities are asking anyone who may have witnessed the incident to please come forward and to help identify the driver who hit West. A Watertown man was arrested under drug charges following a traffic stop. New York State Police say they stopped the vehicle driven by 38-year-old Ryan Mansfield Martin after he allegedly failed to come to a compliance stop at a red light. Police say they saw a knotted baggie with a white powdery substance and 2 white pills in the dashboard area. Police tested the substances and said the powder was crack cocaine and the pills were a Schedule II drug. Mansfield Martin was charged with criminal possession of a controlled substance in the 7th degree and was released on an appearance ticket. Researchers now plan to investigate the structure of hemifusomes in hopes of finding new therapies for those diseases. Your Weather Center forecast is next. WIBX 950 AM 92.3 FM. I'm Megan Stone.
Cloudy starting off this Friday. There may be an occasional shower popping up during the afternoon with winds out of the east and a highly hitting 73. And then scattered showers and storms will move through tonight with a low dropping down to 62. It's going to be a wet start to the weekend with showers and thunderstorms on Saturday and a high near 84, clearing Sunday with a high near 80. I'm Jeff Marr at the Weather Channel on WIBX 950 AM and 92.3 FM.
No store in New York State has all these brands under one roof except Mattress Express, and our 4th of July sales are on. Save up to $1,350 on names like Tempur-Pedic, Stearns & Foster, Sealy, Purple, Puffy, the Smart Bed by Instant Comfort, Posh & Lavish, Therapeutic, Simmons Beauty Rest Black, Serta Eye Comfort, and Avocado. You heard me right. And after purchase, if you see it advertised less within 90 days, bring it to our attention. We refund the difference. If all that weren't enough, take up to 5 years to pay with no money down for qualified buyers. And we have no credit check payment plans. In New Hartford on Commercial Drive next to Pet Supplies Plus. In Oneida in the Glenwood Plaza by the movie theaters. Call 1-800-NEW-BEDS. Go to mattressexpressny.com. Hurry, the 4th of July sales are on.
When it comes to the ones we love, their comfort and dignity matter most. That is why Hospice and Palliative Care is here for you. When you want your loved ones' wishes to be honored, when you want them to be comfortable, safe, and secure, and when you want them to be wherever they call home, Hospice and Palliative Care is the right choice. Our team of professional doctors, nurses, social workers, and bereavement counselors are dedicated to providing compassionate care every step of the way. At Hospice, your loved one is not not alone, and neither are you. We are just a phone call away, ready to support you through this journey. Choose Hospice and Palliative Care, serving Oneida, Herkimer, and eastern Madison County for the comfort and dignity your loved ones deserve. For more information, visit our website, hospicecareinc.org, or call us today at 315-735-6484. Hospice and Palliative Care, Middle Settlement Road, New Hartford, serving Oneida, Herkimer, and eastern Madison counties.
When you need us most.
This is an urgent warning. The recent U.S. strikes on Iran's nuclear facilities have pushed us to the brink of a full-blown geopolitical crisis. Retaliation from Iran, or its allies, is not just possible, it's expected. And that could trigger a chain reaction across the global economy. This is no longer just politics. This is a national security threat, and your retirement could be caught in the crossfire. Every American with a 401k, IRA, or retirement account must act now. Protect your wealth with physical gold and silver today. We are Advantage Gold, the #1 rated precious metals company in America. We've helped thousands secure their wealth, and we can help you too. Call 800-900-8000 right now and request your free gold investment guide. You'll learn how to own physical gold and silver inside your retirement account tax-free and penalty-free. Don't wait. This threat is real. Call 800-900-8000 or visit AdvantageGold.com before the markets spiral out of control. That's 800-900-8000. Past performance may vary. Consult your financial or tax advisor. Call 800-900-8000.
Celebrating 100 years.
This is Keeler.
WIBX 950 and 92.3 FM.
Now back to the Keeler Show.
All right, we are back at Boulevard Diner for Joe Time. Senator Joe Griffo. He's actually meeting with some constituents right now, but let's bring in Sheriff Rob Mashel.
Good morning.
And County Executive Anthony Pacenti as well.
Good morning.
So let's start with the sheriff. This has been a rough week and a half.
It certainly has.
Yeah.
A lot of tragedy, but again, you also see the community coming together. You know, from county leadership to the residents, the first responders, everybody coming together, and just you know through all this tragedy. Certainly hope that this trend of bad weather is not something we're going to be seeing all summer.
Yeah,
it's unfortunate.
We were talking about this a little earlier with the senator, and maybe Tony, you want to pipe in on this. There is, I think, I can only tell you what it was like for me and my wife. So we're awakened at 3:30 in the morning. You're hearing winds like we had never heard before in our home, and I'm looking at the radar, and it's showing we are smack dab in the middle of tornado warning, and it's telling you take cover.
Right.
So there was just something about, are we being weird if we go to the basement? Are we overreacting if we go to the basement?
Not at all.
But what if that storm had hit at that very moment, that tornado hit us at that very moment, we would have been upstairs.
Yeah.
And I think there's an education part of this as well as an alert part.
Well, I think people need to. I think people need to really pay attention to the warnings when they do come out. The issue is we've been in this pattern for a while where you're getting a lot of warnings, and our fear is that people are going to not pay attention to them because they get them so often. But you have to take them seriously, and this is a huge wake up call to, you know what, this can happen, and you have to be prepared. And I mean, I heard you talking this morning. Bill Cardis brought up a fact on an iPhone. There's a
I never thought about it.
Local warning. I never even knew that.
We have new phones.
Right, you have to make sure that your phone is set up
and maybe that's the
for
problem.
those warnings. Yeah. And look, at times, and the sheriff knows this because of, and we all do because of, but cell towers, tend to get affected by these storms, and therefore, some of that doesn't get through the way it should, or as quickly as it should.
I would a little shout out to WKTV because their meteorologists.
They did an awesome job.
We're on Facebook.
Yep.
So if you
the hours, I think
that's right in the middle of that storm. The only place we could get, other than the Weather Channel app that we were watching the radar, the only place we were able to get is on Facebook with them, and they were pinpointing where this was happening. So they did a really good job.
And I think I heard yesterday, far as data goes back, our county's had like 30-some tornadoes. I don't know how many years it went back, but only 2 of them had been in the middle of the night like this. So that was highly unusual.
Right. Yeah.
Very
and
unusual.
that's just another factor that you know, people are sleeping.
But you know what? I mean, unfortunately, you see what happens in those situations and what happens in the Midwest when those things.
But they take it a little more seriously.
Well, they
than we
do.
That's
and those are things we have to take a look at. I think more and more now that we've, gone through this, back to back to back.
And I am not by any means trying to imply that the victims in this case did not react properly. I mean, they did what everybody would do, and maybe that is the thing we have to take a look at.
I think when strong winds come in and nobody has that initial thought of let's go downstairs, let's go to the basement, let's go somewhere else. You don't, and that's not to fault anybody at all. I think, and unless you've been through it, or unless you really have a warning that tells you that, then you got to deal with it.
The other part of this that's so tragic is it was the wind, but it was the trees in both cases, which makes you think about what you have around your house, I guess.
It does. It makes us all think about that.
Yeah.
And I think some of the residents have been saying that. I know in Rome, some people have said that I'm clearing these trees out.
Yeah,
I'm done. We're not gonna go because they've been through it a couple times, obviously, but the concentration. I think this one, for whatever reason, I don't know if it's and I have no knowledge of the trajectory of the winds or the height, the distance or whatever, but it seemed like a lot more were uprooted and taken down that way than we saw them sheared off in Rome last year.
And maybe we're talking about all the rain we've had.
The ground is wet.
Ground is wet. Ground is wet.
Yeah.
The ground is wet.
And Clinton was bad.
Think about it today. It's 62, I think, out. I mean,
this is nuts.
3 days ago it was 100.
I was trying to convince my wife that heating the pool was a good idea, and now it's back to 55 degrees.
And the wind direction was a little different with this storm too, because a lot of trees you'll see how they're growing depending on wind direction, and when the wind came from north to south, that definitely caught the trees on a weak side too.
Crazy that we're even talking about it.
But it's great to be back here. This location. This was one of my patrol zones for over 20 years. So right here,
great place.
And
great place.
We were just talking
a lot
about
of memories here.
The old Buried Alive contest. It wasn't a contest; it was a fundraiser that we did.
Yeah, I come into roll call and they told me, they said, just so you're aware, there's a guy buried alive underground for a fundraiser for the next several days. So
in a little school bus, one of those smaller school buses. And it went down. And Wade Haponsky was I went to high school with Wade, and he was former military at the time, and he's the guy who came in to make sure I didn't die down there. So
did the senator have something to do with that idea of that or whatever?
I think he might have. I think he was trying to get me finished completely. He wanted more dirt. Bring in more dirt. So, all right, gentlemen, thank you.
Great to be here. Thank you.
Have a good weekend.
Quick break, then we'll bring in Senator Griffo and wrap it all up here. And we have Dave Olney coming in as well. We're live from Boulevard Diner. If you've not been to Boulevard Diner in a while, they do a tremendous job. And you'll love the food and the pastries and the cakes and everything else. They've done a tremendous, tremendous job. In fact, I want to go back to a comment that Megan sent me a little earlier this morning. And Marianne, the answer to that is yes. Megan says, caller who only wanted to be identified as top of the morning says you need to try their chicken fried steak at Boulevard Diner. It is top of the morning to you. It is phenomenal. Quick break at WIBX.
Hi, folks. This is Rob Hilton. Your family is your greatest treasure. Is your estate plan ready to protect them when it matters most? At Hilton Estate and Elder Law, we understand the importance of getting it right. That's why we offer a free review of your current plan. Together, we'll assess it and provide honest feedback to ensure it truly works. No cost, no obligation, just confidence and peace of mind. Let's prepare for the future together. Schedule a free review today.
Hilton, you know the name, they know the law.
This message comes from Viking, committed to exploring the world in comfort. Journey through the heart of Europe on an elegant Viking longship with thoughtful service, destination-focused dining, and cultural enrichment on board and on shore. With small ships that bring travelers closer to the destination, there's more time to explore. And every Viking voyage is all-inclusive, with no children and no casinos. Discover more at Viking.com.
Hey, it's Mike Aubrey, the real estate expert. I spend a lot of time driving through neighborhoods. Guess what I see? Lost, confused homeowners. There's one now, driving in circles.
Hey, pal, need some help?
I've been looking for a better mortgage, but I'm not getting anywhere.
They're searching and searching for refinancing. But even though they are current on their payments, they just can't find a lower rate or better terms because they're underwater on their mortgages.
Talk about getting the runaround.
But there is one place to look if your mortgage is owned by Fannie Mae or Freddie Mac.
Mike, can you get me out of here?
Come on, follow me. I've got the answer.
HARP, HARP. It's a government refinancing program that can save you money. See if you qualify at harp.gov.
Thanks, Mike. Now we're getting somewhere.
Harp.gov, your best route to a better mortgage.
There's hundreds of fun and simple things you and your family can do to live a healthier lifestyle. Here's 20 of them. Eat less, eat slower, eat smarter, eat your fruits and veggies. Stop eating before you're full. Up your fiber, lower your calories, get off the bus early, do some gardening, do jumping jacks, take the stairs, take one, not two, take on a new sport, take a long walk home, walk instead of drive, bend, stretch, reach for the stars, climb the monkey bars, skip the fudge bars. Search We Can online to find more ways you and your family can get healthy together. A message from the Ad Council, HHS, and NIH's We Can program.
Celebrating 100 years.
This is Keeler.
WIBX 950 and 92.3 FM.
Now back to the Keeler Show.
Can I tell you, we're back at Boulevard Diner, and one of the things, Joe, that I do want to say and compliment you on about this is that not only are you here to answer questions, sometimes be confronted by people with big issues, and it's a great opportunity for them to confront you for their own benefit or somebody else's. You also bring many political figures in, because I'm looking over here, and the sheriff is getting it.
Right.
Paceni was just getting cornered. Brian Miller earlier.
Yep.
So it also allows people to come in and be able to communicate with
Charlie, take care.
with all of their leaders. So it's a big deal.
That was Charlie Thomas, who used to own the Riverside Diner for a long time. So
that's
very
right.
big with the Irish community here when they do a lot of great activities. So this is you're right.
Yeah.
And it's a great opportunity. I want to thank you too, because a lot of the listeners who can't make it here have that opportunity to interact, listen to you, and have an opportunity to interact with us too. And so as you can see, this is a great chance for the public to say, well, they're all in one place too. I appreciate them coming out, and this is something that's worked, and that's why we continue to do it. And again, I want to thank you, Davey and Bill, and everybody at Town Square and 950 AM WIBX for covering it.
By the way, don't go thinking we're done, because we have some big issues to hit you on in a second. But do the introductions to...
we got Chief Only here, and they're going to talk about a few things here. I'm going to let you get on the mic and then turn it over.
I feel like this was a bait and switch. I thought he was getting a free breakfast.
No, I don't think he's set that up. All right, and by the way, he called you the chief. Dave Only is now chief of police at Boonville, up in Boonville. So, all right, tell us who you brought in here this morning.
So I'm just here for support here. This is Dan Corbett, the founder and organizer of the Back to Blue motorcycle ride.
Good morning.
Good morning.
So let's talk about the Back to Blue motorcycle ride.
What it is a group of 8 people who come together, spend a whole year organizing a motorcycle ride to say thank you to our law enforcement in the area.
Which is, a few years back we were at a time where it was really, really needed. I mean, it's always needed, but there was an attack on police around the country.
Absolutely. That's the reason why we started it, because we felt it was necessary to speak up and say, hey, thank you, we appreciate you.
Yeah.
We got your 6, and let them know that we care about them.
How many? First of all, can people still get involved in the ride?
Yes, they can.
Okay, how does that happen?
The ride is July 12th at Harley-Davidson Utica. It's a
day before Boilermaker.
That is correct. That's the reason why we set that date.
Good date. A lot of people home, and
a lot of people home, a lot of people in the area, and they can come on down at 8:30 in the morning, start registration. At 10 o'clock, kickstands are up, and we have an 88-mile ride led by the Sheriff Department.
Nice.
And we have agencies helping us along the way, including the fire department and local police agencies. This way we can get through safely. And our hope and dream is to get the public out there. This way they can, praise our law enforcement.
Yeah. Who do you call when you're in trouble? Who do you call when somebody's trying to get into your house? Who do you? I mean, that whole aspect of who do you call when you need help was lost during that period. Yet people still called when they needed help.
I totally agree.
And this helps remind us of that.
These guys started this at the height of that nonsense. And, it's been really neat. And I will say one other thing as the president and one of the original founders of the Deputy Kurt B. Wyman Memorial Foundation. This organization has given unbelievable amount of money that they've raised through this ride to the Wyman Park. And if you go up to the Judd Road to the Wyman Park, you'll see
what's been accomplished.
What's been accomplished there, and there's more coming. It's we've only just started, so and a lot of it is thanks to groups like this that have really donated a lot of money.
We raise money through raffles and donations and sponsors, and that money is used. It's given to foundations for officers who were actually killed in the line of duty.
Wow.
We're 100% volunteer. 100% of money is get handed out.
Yep.
And this is our 6th year doing it, and it's just gotten so big where I've had to call in help.
How many do you think you'll have this year?
Everything is weather dependent. If it's a beautiful day, we can have a couple hundred. If it's rainy, you may have 50.
Right, but still at 50 even in a.
I think one year it rained pretty bad, and we still had a lot of motorcycles.
Wow, that's
awesome. Dana and I have ridden it every year.
Again, how do people get in? How does
July 12th, Harley-Davidson Utica.
How much does it cost?
Doesn't cost anything.
Okay.
Nope. We do strictly through our raffles.
Okay, that's cool.
Yep. I don't want someone to feel that they have to pay to say thank you.
Sure.
And it's never been about money. If you can come and just say thank you, enjoy the ride. Like I said, it's led by the Sheriff Department. They have the route and stuff like that. And we're just happy and proud to be able to do what we do.
All right. Well, nice job.
Thank you, Bill.
Thank you.
Thank you. And you don't need a Harley. You can ride anything.
It can be anything. Are you sure about that?
Yeah. We won't laugh.
Yeah.
Well, we also have vintage police cars.
That's cool.
Do the ride as well.
Yeah.
They usually follow in the back. Dave brings down his state police car and puts it on display there. This way.
Yours is an old state police. 60s, 70s?
No, I have actually an 04. I'm down to just that one.
Okay, all right.
But there's a bunch of them that'll be coming in from around the state.
There's some really cool vehicles out there. Yeah. All right.
We if you have a vintage police car, we invite you to bring it down.
Okay.
Put it on display there.
Very nice. All right, well, do well. It'll be a great weekend, Boilermaker weekend. It never rains on Boilermaker Sunday.
Never.
So Saturday should be the same. So
I appreciate it.
Cool. Thank you, guys.
Thanks,
we
guys.
appreciate it. Nice job. Let me bring in the senator to wrap it up, and Joe, come right down in. Okay, beautiful. We'll keep promoting this for you. Thank you,
Dan. Thank you.
Saturday, July 12th.
Chief, thank you.
And
Chief looks pretty good. Normally, I see him in purple and gray in the old days, and now look at him. He looks like he's ready to go surfing.
Well, it's where all the beach.
You can do a little. I love it. I said that's awesome.
So all the beach attire up in Boonville.
Right.
That's where it all begins.
I can say too, Chief and Dan, that we were very successful this year in passing legislation. Assemblywoman Buttonshine had it in the Assembly, and I passed it in the Senate, renaming a portion of Black River Boulevard in Rome in honor of Officer Jensen. So
yeah.
So that's really awesome.
Thank you. All right, Joe. This was any other. I know you want to go over some stuff that.
Yeah, I mean, I think Davey said he was going to bring me back. I don't know if that's good or not.
We can do that too. Yeah, we can do that.
Way you want to close
well, let's talk a little bit about there are some issues. Obviously, session has ended, and you just had we got bombarded with a lot of people there today.
Yeah, that was a good thing, right? Good
Yeah.
thing, and then you and I got to talk about things, and I think they're very not only topical but relevant.
Yeah.
When you look at what took place in New York City, what's taking place across the other cities across upstate New York, because ultimately that does have an impact on the taxpayer of the state of New York. If you remember historically, because I know you're not that old, and we just read this in textbooks.
That's right.
But New York City was on the verge of bankruptcy back in the
80s were terrible. The early 80s, 70s, 80s were awful
and
in
Governor
New York City.
Kerry at the time
Yeah.
came into office and actually put a program together to save the city. If you remember, that's when President Ford, the big headline said,
"We're not going to save,"
right, and the state had to step in. So the point is that ultimately what happens down there does have an impact on everyone, and that's why when you look at the leadership and how they're choosing leadership, that becomes important to all of us. And I don't believe somebody now who espouses these where the government, there'll be a government-run store and things of that nature, which, as again, he has called himself a socialist. It's not going to work, in my opinion, and I think those are the problems we have, because the issues of significance in this state right now, when you poll people and you interact with them, is affordability and safety.
Yeah.
People do not believe they can afford to live here, or businesses do business here. People don't feel safe. Your daughter's in New York City. I mean, she's got to ride the subway and things of that nature, and you want to make sure that she has not only a safe ride, but a comfortable ride too.
Right.
And I think
I got one thing that is worth, because you can go through the subway system, and as you get to certain areas of the subway, I don't know how much you've traveled on the subway, but there are some beautiful sections of the subway that are all neat and clean and updated, and money has been put into those areas. And then you get the rest of the subway that's like garbage. Whereas when you travel to other parts of the country or other parts of the world,
absolutely,
the subways are beautiful.
Absolutely.
And that cleanliness and upkeep helps contribute to safety.
And I think, again, it's a reflection of who's in charge, because
it is.
When prior to Giuliani you had that, the streets were a mess, crime was rampant, and when he got in, he made the effort to go after quality of life things. And people said, you're not going to be able to do it because the city's too large, but they did.
Yeah.
They did it. He did it. Bloomberg continued it. And it can be done. And just 5 quick takeaways from, and then we'll get into this hopefully in the next week or so, because some of these things are important.
This is session has ended, and your 5 takeaways.
There's an affordability crisis in New York, and I think it's worsened based on some of the things that we did in the legislature.
And that's not just New York City.
No, this is the state of New York. They've chosen criminals over victims. They've chosen migrants above public safety. We continue to see our college campuses disruptive and a mess, and a lot of anti-Semitism that's existing. And then a lot of the things that went in, like, to me, are corrupt. For instance, we passed something to, you're hearing things about who sues who and the cost. We gave the Attorney General basically a $10 million fund to defend herself in any private action. So this is unprecedented that we would do something like this. And so, and the governor just recently allocated $50 million for the legal defense of illegal migrants that are here illegally, not legally, not the people who are here legally. So when you look
Don't they already get that with pro bono and
well, you can get some of that through pro bono, but the point is to think of that, and here we are when you talk about reeling from a natural disaster here, and if you can spend $50 million there, but it's very difficult to get the attention and the resources from the state of New York financially that should help communities like here in Oneida County that just went through this natural weather disaster. So to me, it's priorities and how they're approaching this thing. Again, there's a difference in philosophy and politics and ideology, but ultimately it's what are we doing to deliver for people. And I think when you look at some of the policies that have been implemented, I mean, even the judiciary, look at the judiciary. At the end of session, they recreated judicial districts here. So it's not good enough that they control every office in the state of New York, the Democrat majority, but now they've tried to change the courts and rearrange, and that's something we can get into now, our Supreme Court districts. Ultimately, Oneida County will be a whole new district, even though it'll be called the 5th Judicial District. But we can explain why and what that means to all of us. And one of the other things that is a problem to me and shows you here the perception or the reflection of this community, even though you have Democrat elected officials here, but the Court of Claims position here in Utica, which Judge Brindisi held, and before him Judge Siegel, was left vacant by the governor this time, and she appointed judges from Buffalo, Rochester, New York City, but ignored the city of our area and the city of Utica, and that's unacceptable.
Before we get out of here, the one thing a lot of people are talking about is in New York City, back to New York City, but Andrew Cuomo being looked at as in a positive way by everybody else. Andrew Cuomo almost being looked at as a conservative compared to where this has gone. I think there is a battle within the Democratic Party to figure out what their identity is going to be.
Yeah, and I think Cuomo had experience, whether you liked him, whatever you felt about him ultimately as a person as well as a politician, but he ran the state of New York for 11 years.
Yeah.
And particularly in that first term, he showed how also you can govern with balance.
From the middle.
Right.
He really did in the beginning.
Right. And I think it's going to be interesting to see how this all evolves and unfolds. He may enter the race as an independent. You have Eric Adams in the race again. You have a Republican candidate, Sliwa. So New York City is going to be interesting to watch. And again, I think a lot of what you see with Mandami right now is flash. It's a youthful appearance, articulate, really knows how to use social media. But ultimately, what is this individual, not only what is he proposing, but ultimately, what can he deliver?
Closing, what are you, you're out of session. You, like Marianne Buttonshaw and Brian Miller, Robert Smullen, everybody's now basically home. And Blankenbush, I'm trying to make sure I got everybody.
Right.
And you, of course. This is your chance to really hang out, come to places like this, meet and greet with people. This is that time where you have your legislators' ear.
Yeah, and to me, it's one of the most important aspects of the job. But people think that when you're not in Albany, you're not doing anything.
Right.
This is where it really counts because you get to listen to people's concerns and problems. You get to take their perspective and views to represent them as you look at policy and legislation. But the most important thing is to interact with them, to hear what's on their mind, and to try to do your best to help because many of them have issues and concerns with state agencies of that. So to me, being in the district and with your constituents is something that I've enjoyed thoroughly. I mean, there are several aspects to this. To me, constituent service and interaction is the most important. Then you also have to deliver for your communities. And then finally, it's the laws, the lawmaking, the legislation. So it's great to be home.
That communication time.
Absolutely.
All right, we appreciate it. Yet another Joe time. And our thanks to everybody here at Boulevard. Enjoy the weekend. Be safe. We're back on Monday.
From the Stanley Theater Studios, WIBX Utica, Rome.
W295EI.
WIBX 950 and 92.3 FM, celebrating 100 years.
It's a big day at the Supreme Court. I'm Chris Foster, Fox News. The last day of the term, opinions start coming out at 10 a.m. Eastern.
The court has 6 cases left, including one that will determine if federal judges can issue nationwide injunctions, rulings that temporarily stop a rule or law from taking effect, but apply it to the whole country. 3 judges issued such injunctions after the president signed an order ending birthright citizenship. The court may not issue a ruling today on it, though, since they heard arguments later in the term.